One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody? On a Saturday afternoon, bright, sunny, and hot down here in South Florida. You know that they do the temperature, which is like, this is what the temperature is, and then they do the whole feel-like thing. The last time I checked, the feel-like temperature was somewhere around 112 degrees. Let me see what they got it at now. Oh, it's cooled off as we're getting into the afternoon. It's only 103 degrees right now. But it's nice and cool in here, so I'm good. And going out by the pool, you know, you stay out there for a while and you start cooking. But I couldn't wait to come in here today. Unlike some Saturdays when I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to talk about? Well, there's a whole lot to talk about. I'm going to take you through a whole bunch of stuff that happened today, give you my opinion on some things, and then also share some facts with you as well. So let's go in. I guess we can start with some of the facts right off the bat because they came from President Trump. So President Trump, who's over in Scotland, is letting people know, even with the time difference, he's on, out there doing stuff, and he says, very important, the Republicans must play to win. Where have you heard that before? I keep telling you, these people don't know how to win. For whatever reason, they don't know how to win. Clear the 135 so badly needed. The 135 he's talking about are 135 judicial and other appointments that are being backlogged by the Senate, by the Republicans. They haven't been confirmed. And now John Thune and Mike Johnson, they want to go ahead and go on recess for about a month and a half. I think it's back. They're not back until September. This is idiotic, which is playing right into the Democrats' hands. This would never happen if the Democrats were in power. They'd get it done. They would push whoever, whether it's Obama or Biden, they would stay there and they would get it done. They would force it down the Republicans' throats. But now the Republicans are in power and they have decided to, whatever, we're going on vacation, got to go to the beach house. Instead of getting your asses at your job and getting this done for America. Nope. They are purposely not getting things done. Let me show you what I mean by purposely. So, if they were to go on recess, a normal recess, the president has the option at that point of installing or appointing recess appointments, meaning, hey, they're not here, they're not going to be here, we're going to go ahead and appoint some people until they're confirmed. That's how it can work. You remember this all the way back when Pete Hegseth and a few of them were going with their confirmation hearings, and people were saying, why don't we just do a recess appointment? Well, they got confirmed. So now here we are with 135 people just stuck in traffic. They're not doing anything, and they won't stay. They won't do their jobs. And President Trump and many, many, many supporters are pissed off. As you can see, this is Senator Mike Lee who posted this. The Senate shouldn't recess before clearing the 135 nominee confirmation backlog. If the Senate recesses anyway, it should actually recess. This is very important. No pro forma sessions, as their only purpose is to prevent Trump from making recess appointments. The Senate can't have it both ways. So let's talk about that. What is a pro forma or a no pro forma session? And this is where it gets really weird, and you have to realize at this point these people are working against Trump. Well, go ahead and call your recess, and then President Trump could name whatever or whoever he wants. They would immediately be able to take office. But what John Thune is planning on doing, or what John Thune has said he was going to do, hopefully it changes, is that every couple of days he will gavel in a session where nothing is happening and then gavel it out real quickly. Just him. Maybe even a couple other people just sitting here. Boom. We're in session. Now we're not anymore. What that does is that there's a length of time that you have to be in recess that triggers the presidential capacity to do a recess appointment. And by coming in every 3, 4, or 5 days and hitting the gavel, open for business, now we're closed, it prevents President Trump from doing it. Now, as they are in the majority, as they now have control, the only reason you would do that, there is no other reason where you would come in and hold no pro forma sessions, is to stop President Trump from naming a recess appointment. There is no other political reason that you would do it. And then some of these people, like Thomas Massie, they're openly bragging about it. Thomas Massie posted this. During August recess, Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune plan to call the House and Senate into session every 4 or 5 days, with practically no one there, for the sole purpose of preventing Trump from making recess appointments. He's happy about it. He doesn't want Trump to have this power. I think further, somebody actually said something. Oh yeah, look at this. So somebody, who's Anna? Is Anna, she's a marketer or whatever. She says, for those wondering why, it's most likely so that they have power to cut deals with Trump. We saw this with RFK Jr.'s nomination. Many senators held out on their vote until Trump cut a deal. And Massey goes, yeah, checks out. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to stall everything to get our way. Petulant children in our government are going to hold up a process where President Trump could fill the judiciary. But these scumbags don't want to do that. They don't know how to win. All they know how to do is muck things up. And that's exactly what Massey is happy about. Oh, it checks out. That's exactly what we're doing. I'm going to cut a deal. You want my vote? You're going to have to deal with me. And Thune and Mike Johnson, winkety wink, seem to be going along with this. So every time we hear, President Trump talking about Mike Johnson, he's always talking about how great he's doing, how great of a job he's doing. So why is he okay with this happening? And then yet, post on True Social, don't do the no pro forma recess. If you're gonna go, go. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either on recess or you're not. And so it doesn't make any sense unless it makes sense, unless someone's going to pull a fast one, which is possible. I don't know. That's an opinion. The fact is, John Thune and Mike Johnson said they're going to do every 3 or 4 days just to make sure that President Trump can't make any recess appointments. This entire government at this point just seems to be the Keystone Cops. They can't get their stuff together. And it seems like many of them are okay with it. They're okay with just mucking everything up. Wanted to show you this. And President Trump, again, was posting something. This is just from a ex-user. Either confirm all the nominees or stay on vacation and let Trump make the recess appointments. Just stay. Be gone and stay gone. But none of this, hey, we're going to come back in 3 days and just so you can't do what you need to do, just so you can't work while we're not working, because essentially that's what it means. President Trump's like, let's go. I got a country to save. Oh, they're on vacation. All right, in like 4 days, we can do the recess appointment. Oh, no, they came back. Great. No, they left again. Why are we playing these games? Why are we playing these games? And it's very interesting because now President Trump is trying to dial up the pressure. He put this out this afternoon. Actually, Nick Sortor did it. And it says, breaking, President Trump is increasing the pressure on John Thune to cancel the Senate August recess, as 135 of Trump nominees are still awaiting Senate confirmation. This is very important. Republicans must play to win. That's what I keep saying. They must play to win. Clear the 135 so badly needed, and he's trying to tell John Thune, get it done. This should be an absolute no-brainer. Every single one of you in the chat right now are probably saying to yourself, what? You have the opportunity to confirm 135 people that President Trump has appointed, and you're going on vacation for a month? The entire month of August? And meanwhile, he's doing everything he can, giving speeches 2 or 3 times a day, flying around the world, cutting deals, doing tariff deals, all kind, and y'all take it off. Like, it's no big deal. How does that look with the American people? How does it look to you guys? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But that's what's happening. So, this is what you now have to do. You now have to join in the pressure wherever you live, whatever state you're in, and you need to get on there and start letting your fingers do the talking and tell your senator and representatives, hell no. I didn't pay you. I didn't elect you to just drop the ball right before President Trump is trying to get these people confirmed. No. Go to effing work. And feel free to use the whole word. I don't care. This cannot stand. We cannot let these people just leave the president dangling in the wind because they're hoping they can cut a deal. And the only thing I can think of is possibly John Thune and Mike Johnson are pulling a fast one on the whole group of Congress and the Senate. That's the only thing that makes sense. Nothing else makes sense to me. All right, let me pause there and take a few comments, because I already know what these comments are going to look like. What do we need government for anyway? We the people have to take care of our own country. Yeah. Rosario says they have no shame. No. Get Massey on your show. He wouldn't dare come on and ask what this is all about. Well, he told you what it's all about. They want to cut their own deal. And they don't want it happening during recess. They want to be able to talk to the president and say, I need this. Stick this in some bill someplace so I get this. And then, maybe winkety wink, I'll vote for you. They're all independently playing like they're the president. He's the president. He's the president. She's the president. Instead of just saying, you would never see this with Democrats. You probably have never seen it with Democrats. Now you think about it. Hey, I want this done. Okay. Oh, yeah. All 50 of you in the Senate, we're actually 47 right now, and every single of the 200 or so in the House, do what we're telling you to do. They're always unanimous. And I know some people say this kind of stuff. Well, I don't want somebody just to walk lockstep and just do what they're supposed to do instead of like questioning things. That's different. We're not talking about questioning some things. We're talking about people who are mucking up the whole wheel here. They're not playing ball. They don't know how to win. You got 2 years, and it's shrinking quickly. You got the midterms coming up. You don't want to look fractured going into the midterms. You'd like to get your crap together and do something correctly. SV says it's just insane how just 10 companies can mirror the entire U.S. economy. All stocks are definitely in a bubble. Mm-hmm. If we had term limits, most of these crooked politicians would be gone. Done. Been there way too long. Term limits are a must. Yeah. I agree. Get Massey to answer questions, including Pelosi. But yeah, so that's what the plan is right now. They're planning. Yeah, Kim, you're absolutely right. Blackmailing President Trump is not a smart strategy, but that's what they're planning on doing. All cutting their individual deal. And notice, and this is where it pisses me off. Yeah, I don't see anything from Ted Cruz saying get your ass back to work. I don't see anything from XYZ senator or this senator. Hey, let's do this. Let's stay here. They're conspicuously absent right now. Why are you all not screaming? Why is not every single person in the Senate screaming at the ones who want to go home and go, no, 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 we need to stay? But they're conspicuous by their silence. It's absolutely, it's like we didn't win an election. These people don't want to win. Not at all. It's crazy. So, let me move on to story number 2. I got a whole bunch of stuff here, so I'm going to have to keep moving. You know, in certain terms of news, they call it the A block and the B block. We got about 10 blocks down to go. So that was the A block. Now the B block. And this one is kind of weird. Ready? All right, so Dan Bongino posted something today that probably caught your eye. And let's go to what Mr. Bongino posted today. This is very interesting. All right, here we go. We're gonna go through this because I had posted on X something about there's fact and there's opinion. There's news and there's interpretation and opinion. Let's cover the news and then we'll talk about an opinion. So Dan Bongino posted this today. This is the news. The deputy director of the FBI made a statement. That is newsworthy. Here's what he said. During my tenure here as the deputy director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are indeed happening. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It is a priority for us. But what I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. I'm going to stop right there. You've been shocked to your core, and you'll never be the same after learning what you've learned, and you felt comfortable telling us, oh, it's really effing bad. I'm shocked to my core. I'll never be the same. But you don't tell us what it is. And so we're all sitting here. This is the opinion part going, wow, that sounds bad. What are you talking about? Why would you say that at this point if you're not going to tell us what it is that you're talking about? Hey, I got a secret for you, but I just can't tell. There's a song. Because now all this has done is piqued interest once again. here is another distraction. And it is, my opinion, a distraction. I was going about my Saturday, having fun in the pool with Robin, thinking about what we're going to have for dinner, and I look at Dan Bongino's cryptic post. What does this mean? I don't know. And nobody knows. And that's the part about it. Now you've got people all over X interjecting their opinion, their speculation, and nobody knows. And I am sick and effing tired of cryptic posts by anybody. That means absolutely nothing to me. Telling me straight up that you are, quote, shocked to your core. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. I don't know, maybe the topic would have helped? Hey, I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned about this trafficking. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned about Epstein. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned about Hillary. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. What's the next word? What? I don't expect you to tell me or tell anybody the things and go into detail, but you could have just said the subject. Now we're all sitting here going, which one was it? Is it the corruption? Is it the trafficking? Is it Epsteinian? What is it that has shocked you to your core? Why bother telling us if you can't tell us? And this is with all due respect to Dan. I can imagine you've seen some things and went, oh no. But at that point, unless you can tell me, why would you tell me? Oh no, you won't. You don't believe what I've seen. No, I can't, because I don't have no idea. I cannot even understand what it is that you've seen. And now you've got millions of people, many of them who are your fans, going, yeah, Dan's right. I'm like, right about what? This is when I talk about critical thinking with people. Whether you love Dan as a podcaster or not, you can't say stuff like that and have people lean in and keep them there like it's the second episode of Mannix or something. It doesn't make any sense. Fill it in a little bit. Now everyone's sitting there, oh, what's he got? More, please. No, I don't want more, please. I want to have some substance. And he goes on. We are going to conduct these righteous and proper investigations by the book and in accordance with the law. I don't need you to say that. You're the deputy director of the FBI. Of course you're going to do that. I know you're not going to skirt. That doesn't even need to be said. Investigations by the book. We are going to get the answers we all, quote in big capital letters, we all deserve. As with any investigation, I can't predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest and dignified effort at truth. Not my truth or your truth, but the truth. God bless America and all those who defend her. Okay, I salute you for that. If anybody feels comfortable, if anybody feels like they've learned something after reading that, you're a better person than me, because I'm like, yeah, that don't mean anything. We know the government's whacked. We know there's been some sick puppies. Many of us who were back in that 17th letter area, we've seen the pictures. We've seen some video. We watched what Diddy did. We know our government is effed up. You're not telling me anything new. Now, some of you guys might get pissed off and say I'm coming down on Dan. I'm not. What I'm saying is, just shut up. When you can tell us and open the curtain, that's what we want to see. I don't want to know that you're seeing stuff that's really bad and horrible and shocks you to the core, and you'll never be the same. I know that. Every single one of us who've been following along at home, we all know that. I watched my wife cry for 3 days at some of the stuff she saw. We all know it. But I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Did we bomb somebody and a bunch of people get wasted and nobody knew that the bombing took place? Is it about Epstein? I don't even know. And I sit back on X and I'm like, look at this crap. Look at these people all running with conjecture, and nobody knows. Maybe his wife. That doesn't help much at all. And if you step off your perch as a complete Bongino army person, you will look at this and realize, yes, I didn't learn anything from that post, and as such, why did he even put it out there? Because just like with Bondi with the binders and everything else, it just causes more confusion. That's my concern with that. It causes more confusion. People are going to speculate and run with it. Some of the things I've already seen are just crazy in terms of what people are talking about it. And then, what's his name? Tom Cotton posts this. Tom Cotton is attempting to pressure Kash Patel. Tom Cotton, of all people, shouldn't be pressing anybody into handing over to him everything the FBI knows about James Comey. No, Tom Cotton is a deep state snake, the same snake who just filed legislation to gut Tulsi's office after she exposed Obama. He'll merely forward everything Kash and Dan have uncovered to keep his deep state friends, including Comey and Brennan, happy. Cotton is not on our side. It's all crazy. It's happening in so many different places at this point that if you're truly honest to yourself, I don't mean a sworn member of the army. I'm talking about if you sat back as a citizen with a functioning frontal lobe and you're like, okay, that did absolutely nothing, and people are sending out cryptic messages. Even worse than the cryptic stuff that Q sent out. What the hell are you talking about? And that's problematic. If you don't see it as problematic, you're not really paying attention. After everything we've seen in the last month or so, now would be the time I would start preparing people for what they're about to see. Because if there was a deal cut with Ghislaine Maxwell, and she's going to be talking about people, and you've got pictures and possibly video of some of these people that you can verify, yeah, people are going to be shocked. So maybe instead of, I'm shocked to my core, no, I shouldn't be shocked to my core, but you're going to be when you see what we have from XYZ investigation. And then we're sitting back going, yeah, okay, Dan's bringing the goods on Ghislaine. Oh, it wasn't about her? Oh, I have no idea. Nancy Pelosi's husband running around in his underwear again with some gay guy? I have no idea. But it's nuts. So I'm gonna click on the comments here, and I'm like, okay, are they roasting me? Let me see. No, first one, distraction after distraction. I'm so sick of it. Okay, so first person, trust in Dan Bongino. If you heard what I just said and that's what your comment is, you didn't listen. You didn't listen. There's nothing to trust in that post. He told you how he feels. He said, I am shocked to the core. And he goes, I will never forget or be able to sleep with what I saw. There's nothing to trust. Yeah, okay, I understand. That's him. What is that? How does that mean I distrust him? Let's see here. I'm trying my best to where people, no one can stop what is coming. Correct. Yes, we are roasting you. You don't think I expected that? Yeah, exactly. Really funny when people get into politics, their whole personality changes and their true colors come out to the surface. I don't think his personality changed. I think he's limited by what he can say in the office that he's in, which I fully understand. My point is, then don't say anything. There's nothing that compelled him to put out that cryptic post. It does nothing to help anybody outside of his office at all. Didn't give us any information. It's not about trusting him. You didn't give me anything. Wow, you saw something that really bothers you. Great, what time's lunch? It doesn't mean anything to me. We all have seen stuff. If you've been around for a while and you dug and dug and dug, you have seen stuff that'll curl your hair. Or, in my case, fall out. And that's my point with this. And the reason why I even brought it up is I know people were like, hey, you got to trust him. You got to trust him. He didn't say anything to you, okay? I trust that he was shocked by what he saw. No, I'm not. Let me just say, no, I'm not. Which is, I guess, this is the opinion part of that. Dan was knee-deep into a lot of the Q stuff that many of us saw. He saw some of the same pictures. He saw some of the same videos. Once you see a couple of those things, there's not much further, I'm being delicate here, that's going to shock you. If you see people doing things, heinous things, horrible things to young children, there's not much more that's going to shock you to your core. When you see this stuff, you're saying, I can't believe another human being would do something like that to a human being. An innocent human being. There's not much more that could shock me. See, a lot of you guys who are posting, oh, trust him. You haven't seen the stuff we've seen. Yeah, I'm glad for you. You get to go to sleep at night never knowing what many of us have had the misfortune of looking at. And he, as a former Secret Service guy and his connections, I'm pretty sure he's seen the same pictures, the same videos where you just want to cry. There's nothing else you can do. Actually, you do cry. You cannot believe what you're seeing. So to tell people that it makes people run with their imagination. And me personally, I think it makes people think things that they don't need to be going. They're not prepared to go to. They don't have the training. They don't have the counseling to start conjuring up these images. I don't wish it upon anybody to have seen any of the stuff that I've seen. And when my wife saw it, it took quite a long time to console her because of what she had viewed. She wanted to. She goes, I'm taking a red pill. I want in. I'm like, are you sure, honey? Pray. Make sure you understand what you're about to see. And then after she saw it, she's like, I need to pray more. So it's not something you can just waft out there and go, you're not going to believe what I saw. Because then people can conjure up, maybe they can't. Maybe it's hard for people to even imagine the absolute depravity of the human mind. And that's a good thing. If you can't even imagine it, you're like, Barry, he just made a statement, no big deal. Fantastic. Absolutely, that's fine. I'm just hoping people like, wonder what it could be. What could make you feel like it shook you to your core? Maybe because you don't know, it makes it easy to say, trust Dan, because you're trusting him that he'll take care of it and you'll never have to see it. So that kind of trust, yeah, I could applaud that. Take care of it. Let these people not ever have to deal with it. Because if you do, you'll be a different person. It will change you forever. And not in a good way. Sarah Lynn says, I just got a sick feeling. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. By saying a strong man who's basically in law enforcement, is he just saw something and went, and understand he's probably seen men shot. He's probably seen men get killed over his career. He's probably rolled up on dead bodies in the streets of New York. And so if everything you know in his background right now, oh yeah, I remember he was a cop and he was Secret Service, he was this, he was that. If through all that stuff that he has seen, what he has seen now in the last couple of months is like, oh my God. That's why people like Sherilyn get a sick feeling. Yeah, it's definitely a sick feeling. Remember when people started looking at Anthony Weiner's laptop, there are people, they say, the rumor is a couple of them had to take themselves out. They couldn't deal with it. With what they saw, I was like, I'm going to take the dirt nap. I don't want anybody in this audience taking a dirt nap thinking about how bad this stuff really is. And I'm concerned that when you put something out there like that and people are just like, oh, what did he see? You don't want to see it. So I'm pleading with you, ignore the post, let it go, let him do his work. Maybe that was part of his therapy. I'm like, I got to tell somebody. Okay, hey, it's unbelievable what I've seen. Pray for him. See, this is a lot more. People thought I was going to rail on. No, I'm not railing on Dan. I'm saying right now, pray for him. Pray for his wife, because he had to tell, honey, I can't even tell you what I've seen. And since I saw how Robin recoiled, I can tell you straight up. Wow. So pray for him. Pray for his family. Yeah, people are after Dan to tell them the details, and he probably said in his tweet that answer. Yes, don't ask for the details if you're. Don't ask for something you ain't ready for. And so, like Sherilyn said, and a couple women have said, just pray for him. That's the only thing you can take from that post. Pray for him and his family. They're going through something right now that obviously shook him, quote, to his core, and he'll never get over. So I'm pretty much thinking that's what it is. If it's corruption, yeah, it's corruption. People have been stealing forever. We're going to lock people up. That's fine. Is it changing votes and stuff? Yeah, that's not going to shake you to your core, and it's not going to make you not have sleep. So you pretty much, he's giving you an indication of what it is. And I just want to be the one, if you don't hear from anybody else, no, I'm not railing on Dan. I know if he hadn't seen it before, or maybe it's the volume of stuff he's seen. See, that's another thing. I may have seen pictures, and Robin may have seen pictures and video, but if you got to go after file, after file, after file, after file, and you're like, how bad is this? See, that would shake me to my core. If it's a couple idiots over here, and we're going to lock them up and fix it, and so it doesn't happen again, okay, I think I got it. But when you get in there, and you're going through, oh, my God. Oh, and it's just thousands and thousands and thousands. That make people jump off buildings. It literally would. So pray for him. He's telling you basically, I need some prayer. This is so much. It's too much for me. I mean, look at the words again and think about that. And you hear it from a grown man. And that grown man says to you in public, a public declaration, I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. Has shocked me down to my core. That's somebody who's saying, pray for me. So pray for Dan because of what he has seen. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. I tell you what, when I see this, no, it's not clickbait. That's someone needing to talk. And I fully believe that. I don't think he was being clickbait. He doesn't have to. That's someone saying, "Oh man, this is so bad. I didn't know. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know it reached this kind of level and this many people for this many years and this many victims." Think about it. How many times does a cop shoot his gun in the course of his career? Not being Dirty Harry, maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times. I don't know. Not that many. And so how many bank robberies does a detective work in his career? 10? I don't know. And now you're looking at a crime with thousands of victims over and over and over again. It can make even the strongest of us just curl up. I mean, it would make me feel that way. It would absolutely make me feel that way. So I fooled you guys. Some of you guys thought I was going to give Dan Bongino a hard time, and I'm telling you just the opposite. I'm telling you, be careful of this guy, and keep not just him, because the other thing is keep his team in your prayers. Because at this point, if he's seen it, his team has seen it. And so keep them all in your prayers at this point. I'm not saying that to be over religious. I just know how she reacted, my wife, when she saw some things. And some other people I've shown. And that's why I don't show it anymore. I'm like, okay, that's it. There is nothing worse. You don't want to know. And I'm afraid for him and his family if they saw some of this stuff. All right, so we're going to move on to Tulsi Gabbard in a second. In the interim, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor of today's show. This sponsor is PDSdebt.com. You see, the system isn't broken. It's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how they want it. I'm going to show you something about some banks later on. Big banks profit when you're desperate. Creditors win when you lose, but you don't have to play their game. PDS Debt helps you take back control. They've helped hundreds of thousands break free from credit cards, loans, and high-interest traps. It's your money, it's your future. Time to fight for both. PDS Debt goes beyond the numbers to understand your individual financial situation and shows you how you can craft a personalized plan designed just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting money back where it belongs. That would be in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. That's amazing. It boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. And right now would be the time to get out of debt because of everything that's going to be happening and the opportunity you're going to have out there. You know, if I needed this type of product, it's what I'd use. Now, I want to show you their page really quick. Let me just show you their page. Here is the PDS Debt page right there, and on this page it's got all kinds of information you can go through. You can see what's your unsecured debt amount. You can choose how much, less than 10, 10 to 30, 30 to 50, 50K, all these different debt scenarios, and you can go through it. Also, interestingly enough, they've got some debt calculators. So you can look on here and say, okay, here's a credit card debt calculator that'll walk you through different scenarios as to how you can lower your debt. And PDS Debt has customized options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. Medical bills suck. PDS Debt understands your specific scenario and will help provide alternative solutions to becoming debt-free. You're just 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/Barry. That's pds.com/Barry. Just go to there and you can work on a debt problem right away. All right, so I will be right back in about a minute. We're in a very volatile time right now. There's plenty of financial uncertainty. Now is not the time to be speculative. And I'm also speaking from a personal perspective. I'm buying income-producing real estate, and I'm buying gold and silver. A lot of people don't know the difference between the economy and the stock market. And too many people listen to the news and social media. That'll get you in trouble. Let's face it. It's obvious that a lot of people have an agenda they're not telling you about. Right now, your best bet is stability, and that means you might need to build a hedge against global volatility. May I recommend gold and silver to you? Real gold and real silver, not paper, not certificates, actual gold and silver. What gold and silver can give you is absolute peace of mind. A stock is only as good as the company behind it. It's merely a piece of paper. One of the things I can tell you is that many people are finding out the hard way that some of their investments were built on quicksand. Gold will never be worth zero. Silver will never be worth zero. If you want to calm some of your fears, give my friends at Lear Capital a call today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. Just so you know, Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $5 billion in trusted transactions. And Lear is the only gold company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So go to learberry.com. If you want peace of mind, give my friends at Lear Capital a call at 800-601-5430. Or look down here below and go to learberry.com. And don't forget to ask about getting up to $15,000 in free gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't wait. Do it now. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Be safe. All right, so I'm looking at some of the comments, and yeah, there are true believers, and there's nothing you can say. If you say something that they don't like, it's problematic. But, having been someone who has actually viewed this stuff, I can tell you, yes, it does shake you to your core, and it completely changes the way you see humanity, because you cannot believe that somebody would have actually done that to somebody. It's very bad. So, you can take with, whatever your imagination wants to go with, that's fine. My entirety of what I just said, let me just say it for the last time, because I'm sick and tired of people misconstruing statements. My statement is there was nothing there that anybody can even approximate what he was talking about. And so right now, me and Robin, when she saw it, and other people like, oh, he just saw the pictures, did he? Did he just see the videos for the first time? And it's so hollow because I can't show you. It'd be one thing if I can say, oh, pray for this guy, and here's why. But because I can't show you, it causes even more thoughts in your mind as to what it could be. And, and being that he didn't say anything, you can't tell people what's the ongoing investigation, but he could have said the subject. I can't tell you, I've seen some crazy stuff with this child trafficking. Fine. That's all you need. But now you got people speculating, and that's where it goes off the rails. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Just pray for the guy, because there's so much crap out there. All right, so let's move into Tulsi. Tulsi made an appearance on Fox and Friends Weekend this morning. Let's listen to what she said.
Supreme Court ruling that benefited you on presidential immunity would apply to former President Barack Obama and what you're accusing him of doing.
It probably helps him a lot. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity, and it probably helps him a lot.
Trade agreement you're looking to sign too.
He owes me big. President Trump saying former President Obama could benefit from Trump's own fight for presidential immunity. Now that Obama is tied to that explosive DNI report that details his administration's involvement in the Russia election hoax.
Here now is the report's author, Director of National Security, Tulsi Gabbard. Welcome to the show, Director.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's talk about the reactions that you have had to this report coming out. And also you've mentioned obstacles that you've had in actually putting and compiling this report.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Thanks for continuing to bring this story to the forefront because of the magnitude of the implications of it. It's been interesting to see how the mainstream media has either refused to cover this story at all. The headlines or the lack thereof of newspapers, Washington Post, New York Times, and others in the days following this release have actually been quite deafening in their lack of coverage. And it's interesting to see how when they do cover this, they don't actually cover the revelations that these intelligence reports and the evidence that we released actually conveys to the American people. They simply talk about their criticisms of it or convey Democrat politicians' criticisms of it, but none of them actually dealing with the truth that has been revealed. And to me, there's two reasons for that. Number one is they don't want the American people to know the truth, but also they recognize the mainstream media's complicity in this, that they were fed early lines from this manufactured false intelligence assessment that President Obama ordered, that John Brennan and James Clapper created without any vetting, without any actual journalistic integrity of looking at what they were being fed. They received it and they printed it almost immediately. And then they went on to double down and triple down on this over the next several years. All
right, so many of you knew this, but now she's actually saying this as well. And she's saying it full-throated. The media was complicit. No if. The media was involved in everything Obama and his cronies did, and they're still involved. And I don't think the media realizes what they're doing right now. You guys have heard for quite some time that you can't go back certain periods because of statute of limitation. Treason doesn't have one, but other crimes, you can't go way, way back. Unless you can tie it to an ongoing conspiracy. And so she's basically saying, and you guys can see, it's like, they're still doing it. They are so stupid, they're playing right into the government's hands. Because they're trying not to talk about it, because they're completely avoiding it, because now they know that Obama's team has been telling these people, stop covering this, don't do it, they're furthering the conspiracy. Not much of a conspiracy, they're actually doing it. And so now I'm pretty sure Trump or Pam Bondi are sitting back and going, these people are absolute idiots. They're continuing it, meaning the ability to go back and look at things. If the same parties are still involved, they can just keep going. Like, okay, they did it yesterday. They're still conspiring. They're still doing it. And because they're still doing it, she's letting everybody know, you see? They're making stuff up. They're pretending that, there's nothing there and that Trump didn't do anything and I didn't find anything. They're ignoring it. They're continuing to lie to the American public. And a lie by omission is still a lie. So understand how important this is in terms of all the different pieces of the puzzle is because they're still involved in the conspiracy. That's a huge thing.
Back at, the Iraq WMD, manufactured false intelligence to support an action to go to war in another country. And I went back and looked at the mainstream media's complicity in that, and how many, did they ever admit that they were wrong, that they failed as journalists? Really, they didn't. They gave, a couple of them gave some lame excuses, but there's a lot of parallels here for us to take a step back and look at, again, the magnitude of what has been revealed and why it's important to every American, not just Democrats or Republicans, but it really has to do with the foundational principles of our democratic republic and the integrity of that. That is the thing that I think a lot of the mainstream media folks, again, have refused to cover at all, or are failing to focus on.
It's such an important point. Also, former President Obama's office responded to the documents that you've released, calling them bizarre allegations or ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. What is your response to the former president?
They're doing the exact same thing that people like Senator Warner are doing. He was the head of the Intelligence Committee at the time. They would have to.
All right, so that was very important right there. Some of us, you may have seen some things that Mark Warner had been saying, but now she just tied him into it. She just said he's doing the same things he was doing before. So if you read between the lines, same things you were doing before, you were essentially saying you're continuing to do the conspiracy. You're still committing the act. And I love when she talks because she knows her stuff and she knows what she's saying. She's already been approved to go out there, say this. And so now she's dropped Warner's name. Yeah, he's still doing it too. And so these are all people that they're probably investigating or will investigate because they're still continuing with the conspiracy. Probably because they got no way out. They're completely stuck. And they're trying to save themselves, but not realizing by saying certain things, you're making the quicksand deeper. You got no way out at this point. Maybe you should just shut up. That's why some of them probably haven't said anything. I see Brennan on TV all the time. You're going to see him in a second. I see Clapper already said, hey, I'm getting a lawyer. So some of the people are recognizing, oh, we're in the deep end of the pool here.
Admit and actually address the details of their complicity in this or their absolute failure in conducting the most basic responsibilities of, again, asking, where is this intelligence coming from? What are the sources? What proof do you have of these of this high confidence assessment? Remember, John Brennan and James Clapper at the time assessed, and James Comey, with high confidence that Russia aspired to help Donald Trump win the election in 2016. When there was no credible intelligence that actually reported that. So President Obama's very carefully worded response that came from his office, again, deflects away from addressing any of the truth that was revealed. Right. Senator Warner refuses to speak the truth about how one of our whistleblowers came forward and approached his office numerous times about what had actually occurred, how he wouldn't go along with this fake intelligence manufactured report, was sidelined because of it. And guess what? Senator Warner's office wouldn't even give the whistleblower an email address to send.
All right, so I'm a whistleblower. I come forward and go, look what I'm seeing here. I got all this information. I'd love to send it to you. They ghosted him. I don't even want to hear what you have to say. As long as I can claim plausible deniability here and say, I never got an email. I don't know what he's talking about. I never saw anything. You didn't see anything because you didn't respond. You didn't even allow this whistleblower to provide you with information. How does Tulsi know it? Because she's talking to that whistleblower. And he probably has files of emails and conversations and contacts he had with Warner's office. And so Warner right now knows he's caught. Because he knows he ignored this guy. He knows the guy or lady sent him emails. And now they're like, what do I do now with this one? This is getting deep.
His evidence of this, the treasonous conspiracy that we have now released to the American people. So the complicity, the deflection, and the silence of politicians, of the mainstream media, and of those directly implicated into this speaks volumes.
Director Gabbard, thank you for your clarity, your moral clarity on this, and for your courage to come out with this super quick. Can you comment also on the other parts of the intel networks that they might have been abusing against President Trump? Because I believe this is just the start, not the end, of how they abused the intel agencies against the American people. Where else are you looking? And we're only 6 months into this term. I can't imagine what else you might discover.
When you look, Charlie, at everything that happened in the months leading up to the November 2016 election, what occurred in the years after with multiple investigations from Mueller and others, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered. We are continuing in our core mission, our pursuit of the truth and bringing transparency and accountability. So we're looking forward to continuing down this path.
Meanwhile, I think she's projecting. Obviously, she's engaged in the politicization of intelligence.
Okay, so this is Brennan sitting on a panel with MSNBC flakies, if you know what I'm saying, and they're laughing at it. They're laughing away this thing, and they're platforming this guy and allowing him to continue try to obfuscate from what's really happening. He's blaming it on Tulsi, but he's not addressing what she's been saying. And so they're trying everything they can do to put this guy back on TV to try and gaslight his audience.
For Donald Trump. And so she is pointing to previous intelligence, products that we put out and saying that this was a political, politically designed product. I think what she's trying to do is to gain the good graces of Donald Trump. Clearly, several weeks ago, she was on the outs. Because, Donald Trump said that basically that that she was wrong when she said earlier that the Iranian nuclear program, the weaponization program, had not restarted. And so I think there was seeing that she was not being invited to meetings, she was not in the confidence of Donald Trump and others. And so in a very, I think, hurried sort of exposition here of information, she puts this out. I wish she would.
Notice as he's talking, he doesn't talk about what she put out. She's bad. She's trying to get in Trump's good graces. She is, she's desperate. Mr. Brennan, what about these files? I keep holding up this pad here because I want that to stick in your mind as you're watching these people basically try to backstroke on television. I'm still waiting. I watch this stuff so you don't have to, and I'm still waiting for somebody to say, well, can you explain what's on page 9 here? Nope, they never show and they never refer to the files. They're referring to Tulsi. She's out there running her mouth. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's on the outs with Trump. She's trying to make good. And these two nuts are sitting on the panel, and nobody says to the dude who's sitting right there and go, I can see your name. I got the file. What do you say about this, Mr. Brennan? If you're, as if a real journalist would be. A real journalist would be like, hey, listen, I also see you like on page 4 here. And it says that you sent Obama this email. You want to explain this? Tulsi's an idiot. She's sitting there with her skunk hair, and she's just trying to make favor with Trump. And they never address it. I'm telling you right now, you can click through every single channel. You will never see anybody hold up the actual document. They don't want people to know there's actual paperwork. And so that way he can sit there and just vomit at his mouth.
Look at the evidence. I wish she would look at the assessment. I wish she would look at the reviews that were done. But clearly, she is not interested in the facts. She's not interested in the truth. She's just interested in trying to cast aspersions.
I wish she would look at the assessment. I wish she would look at the facts. How about the two guys you're talking to? Hey, you guys, have you seen the assessment? Hey, Dick and Harry, have you guys seen the assessment yet? Have you read through this? No, I wish she would. You guys don't have to. Just take my word for it. What you're seeing, as I've been telling you, is one giant orchestration. And they don't want people to even bother looking up this stuff. Because if they looked it up, they'd be like, wait a second here. I see your name is all over this document, Mr. Brennan. And while we have you on here, can we have you, respond to what this one says? It'd be very simple. It's out there in the public domain. First question. The documents that Tulsi Gabbard showed to the general public and released, are they real? First question. And if he says no, then are you saying she fabricated them? Because now he's opening up another Pandora's box. If he says yes, well, can you explain what you're saying in these documents? That's why they won't bring it up. And it comes across as news. But all of this is just blather. It's pablum. They're vomiting all over their audience. Because some of them are sitting there, yeah, Tulsi this, yeah. And they won't even ask him what's in the file.
Professionals who really did their best under difficult circumstances in 2016 when Russia was fully engaged in this election interference.
You know who had access?
So that's something for you guys to look at moving forward. It's very simple. Every time, or if you happen to run across a clip, see if they refer to the actual document. Because unless they're referring to the document, which none of them have up till now, yeah, it's all a crock. It's all a crock. All right, let's continue. All right, because I don't want you here all Saturday.
This is sad, hopeless. It's a type of torture.
These are the stories of migrants held at Alligator Alcatraz, a new detention facility deep in the Florida Everglades. Using a plan of the site shown during President Trump's visit and photos from media tours and social media, CNN created a 3D model to take you inside.
Oh, so see, CNN's doing some serious journalism here. we're going to create a 3D model of the picture we can actually show you. We're going to create a model so you don't have to look at the actual structure. So we can make it look, what exactly are you doing?
The site where hundreds of immigrant detainees are being held. Here are the giant tents where people report being crammed into cells made of chain link fence, packed with bunk beds. CNN.
They showed a picture and then they cut to their model. Why don't you just show the picture? There's video, people walking through it. President Trump did a press conference there. You don't need a model. You could actually just show the actual thing. Oh my goodness, these people.
And spoke with 8 detainees to hear firsthand accounts of what conditions are like on the inside. Some asked not to be named for fear of retribution.
Because of the way that we have been treated, it has been a very terrible experience.
Gonzalo Almanza Valdez was detained by ICE when he showed up for a meeting with his probation officer.
It's 32 people per cell, or per cage, really, because this is a cage. It's a metal cage strapped in with zip ties.
3 open toilets are shared by dozens of men who say there's no running water.
I don't know if CNN knows this is a jail. Hey, you know what? Why don't you just, instead of building your models, I don't know what, you're in Atlanta maybe? How about you just go down to the Atlanta jail? Don't even go to the prison. Go to the Atlanta jail, wherever it is, and say, can I tour your facility? Can I see your holding cells? Can I take a look at where you keep the bad guys? And you're going to see everybody in one cell, not individual. They're in one cell. You're going to have the drunks, and you're going to have the zombies, and you're going to have people who did whatever, all sitting around waiting to get talk to a judge. They must not realize that. All they would have to do is go downtown. These people make absolutely no sense. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, let's continue.
System. Roger Moreno, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years, told CNN the rain makes it worse.
The toilets, when it rains, they overflow, and the cells we're in fill up with sewage.
Every time it does rain and storm, the toilets clog up.
Detainees told CNN.
And so they're taking an ex parte, meaning one side. Hey, listen, this is what the criminals told us. Said every criminal everywhere. I don't know. I remember the movie Cool Hand Luke. Yeah, it's hot out there breaking bricks. They're criminals. What the hell do you expect? They're not supposed to be here. And they're not going to be there that long because then they got to get the hell out. What is wrong with these people?
And the lights are kept on 24 hours a day.
Oh, honey, you need to turn off your report, seriously, and just go down to the local jail where you are. The lights are turned on 24 hours a day. When they do lights out in the cells may go dark, but there's still light out there. Oh, my goodness.
I have to personally put a rag on top of my head to at least try to take a nap because the lights are so bright. There's 24 LED lights in the roof, and it's like shining bright.
Juan Palma Martinez has lived in the U.S. for more than 20 years and was also picked up by ICE at a routine meeting with his probation officer.
I no longer know when it's daytime or when it's nighttime. I don't sleep. It's affecting me mentally and physically.
The tents aren't sealed.
It's affecting me mentally and physically. That's what detention's supposed to do. What do you mean? It's not supposed to affect you? You're supposed to, hey man, this isn't like the hotel in New York City. It's an actual jail facility, isn't it? Maybe more and more of your people will see this on CNN and go, I should self-deport. I mean, look there's a president and Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem, and you can actually see the facility. Why did you have to make a 3D model? It's right there. You can see the lights, you can see the cage, you can see the bunk beds, but you had to make a rendering? That make any sense to any of you guys? That's absolutely insane.
Can see cracks in this image. And at the height of the hot Florida summer, that means the insects are relentless.
Yesterday, the air conditioning went out. We had the whole morning without air conditioning.
Oh.
Lots of mosquitoes came in because they get in from all sides.
Multiple detainees say they don't get enough food, though they're served 3 meals a day.
Wait a second. They don't get enough food even though they're served 3 meals a day. She really needs to go down to the local prison. Go to Rikers Island. You think the mosquitoes are bad? What about the things with 4 legs running around? Oh my goodness, lady. This is supposed to make people feel bad? I don't think it makes you look like an idiot, a complete moron at this point. Oh, you know, they only get 3 meals a day. What are they supposed to get? Appetizers, hors d'oeuvres? They're only getting 3 meals a day.
Water is limited.
Scan our bracelets, so we go into the food hall. The food is very terrible here. Very, very, very small portions. People are having a hard time living here because like they're starving. Probably like a quarter cup of rice.
I don't mean to be laughing, but I'm sure any one of you can be a citizen journalist and go down to your local jail and say, Sergeant, I'd like to talk to an inmate here. I'd like to find out what the conditions are like. Well, if they don't throw you out, they're like, okay, well, bring that guy out. All right, so hey, man, what's going on? I got a bologna sandwich and some refried beans or something and a piece of bread. That's my lunch. And for breakfast, they serve me this stuff that they call eggs, but I've never seen eggs made from powder. And you get a couple of slices of bacon. That's it? That's it. What's for dinner? This piece of a pork chop that I could probably use as a weapon. I get that like once a week, and we gnaw on it like it's jerky. But you eat it, yeah, okay. So you're getting 3 meals a day, yes. And what else you get? You get dessert. Anybody making cherry jubilee for you? Huh? I mean, is that what you want? There's one thing to virtue signal. There's a complete other thing to just completely lie to the American public. This is why they have no viewers, because many of their viewers probably know somebody who is in jail, who have visited somebody in jail. If you ever visited somebody in jail, if you ever did a mission where you're praying for people and you go in and and you meet the people in jail, I bought a house from a murderer. I had to go to there. I'm like, oh, this is kind of rough here. Yeah. You okay, man? Yeah. Sign that and we get the hell out of here. It is absurd that they're doing this for newcomers, but they won't do it for everyday Americans that are sitting there separated from their families, who are walking around in sweatshirts inside because it's so cold and there's little crawly things all over the place. Nope. But the newcomers, this is out of the question.
We've eaten as late as 10 at night. The food at night is cold too. There's never a hot meal.
Showers are located in a separate tent, and opportunities to shower there are scarce, according to the detainees we spoke with.
All the showers are connected to the same water source. There's barely any water pressure. So we have to literally put ourselves on the wall right next to the water drainage so we can at least get hit with water.
They follow you when you're walking to the shower with your hands on your...
The guards follow you as you're walking to the shower. That's inhumane, huh? Oh gosh, this is too funny.
Head, as if you were a prisoner. The water is very hot.
Stop. They follow you with your hands on your head as if you were a prisoner. Has nobody told them? Do they not know? They're in prison, the detention center. Oh, they're walking us around with hands on our head, and we're having a look. It's like we're being treated like prisoners. Newsflash. If nobody's told you, you're being detained. That means you're a prisoner. That took the cake. When I saw this one, I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna believe this. They're walking us around like we're prisoners. What the hell do you think you are? You're not there on day camp? Oh my goodness.
Very hot. They don't give you enough time. Mosquitoes are biting you in the shower. There are more mosquitoes than water.
Yeah, right.
The only line to the outside world are phones set up in the cells.
Nobody here has been able to see a loved one. Nobody has been able to see a lawyer here. Nobody has. It sucks. It sucks. There's no physical contact with the outside.
There's no physical contact with the outside world, said every person in prison ever. You know, they touch the glass. All right, love you. Well, you know what? Unlike most prisoners who have to go to jail because they've committed a crime and then the judge sentences them, you have a way out. You have the key to your own freedom. You never have to go to Alligator Alcatraz. If you're watching this right now and you're like, hey man, this sounds awful. I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? You can take door number 2, get $1,000 and get the hell out. You won't have to worry about it. After hearing what these guys are saying, you can have a burrito by noon and be free and got all kinds of pesos. Just get out.
Well, other than these phone calls, it's not really more about me. It's about not being able to see my son. He's 6. He's about to turn 7 in November. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see him for his birthday.
Republican and Democratic.
You didn't know this was an option? You didn't know? It's been all over the news. You might want to self-deport. You've seen Tom Homan, big guy, comes out and says, we're going to get you. It's not like it's been a secret. So the intelligence factor here has to be questioned. You see them rounding people up. You see them going to Home Depot. You see them doing all this. What makes you think you're okay? If you don't have the, excuse me, if you don't have the papers to be here, you better hustle your butt out. Otherwise, you may come down and meet some alligators. Notice they didn't mention that, though.
Lawmakers recently toured the facility. According to one of them, they were not permitted to speak to the detainees. Then State Senator Blaise Ingoglia, a Republican, said the facility is in good order.
It's actually a very well-run facility. The idea that the detainees are in there and they're in squalid conditions is just not accurate.
But most distressing for detainees, they say, was that in multiple cases, they haven't appeared in any state or federal detention system since they were arrested. That means...
I'm sorry, did she just say they haven't appeared in any state or federal detention center since they've been arrested? What the hell do they think they're in? We haven't gone to one detention center, not federal or state, except the one you're in. That one, which is a federal detention center. Something's wrong with CNN. I mean, absolutely wrong. They can't keep this stuff up. They are lying through their teeth, and they're hoping these people who are being MK Ultra'd will never see the light of day and understand they're being gaslit on an epic proportion. Everybody in here watching this is going, you got to be kidding me. I haven't even gone to a state detention center or a federal detention center. What do you think you're in?
Families have been unable to track them.
We're in the middle of the Everglades with constant reminder that we're locked up in a cage and anything can happen. A hurricane could hit us and we can all die and nobody would know.
She broadcast this. They broadcast this on their network. A hurricane could hit us and we could blow it away and nobody would know. Most of us in Florida would know if there's a hurricane coming. They just don't pop up. They put this on their network. It tells you how stupid they are. It tells you how insane a hurricane might just pop up and blow us away. I don't know. I ain't got no alerts. I haven't seen any spaghetti models of the hurricanes coming. What in the hell is these people from CNN talking about? What they're doing is basically propagandizing every other possible person who might get detained. Anyway, a hurricane come down here, blow you right through, and nobody would even know where you are. They think people are stupid, and actually they must be if they're listening to this crap.
Aaron, we received a statement from a spokesperson of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. I'm going to read that to you. It says, quote, as stated many times before, these claims are false. The facility is in good working order and detainees have access to drinking water, showers, and clean facilities for hygiene. And earlier today, we also heard from other Florida officials who say they plan on expanding the facility to include thousands more in this makeshift alligator Alcatraz.
So here's my question.
So, sweetie, why didn't you just get on a plane and go visit yourself? Hey, can we take a camera crew in here? You know, we'd like to show people that, you know, there's mosquitoes everywhere and it's well lit and people can't sleep, and, you know, they don't even realize they're in jail. They think they're at summer camp because they've never been shown that this is a federal facility or state facility. Huh? Don't watch see, I only watch because Trump said you got to watch what your enemy says, and you watch these things like, oh, my brain is being sucked out of my head. This 20-something is just making stuff up, but they got the model for that little piece. Oh my, that was good. Now here's what's really concerning, and how you can really tell these Democrats are completely toast. If you haven't seen this piece from, what's his name, Alexander Padilla, listen to this.
What will you do to fight back? Meet outrage with organizing. Meet mass deportations with mass mobilizations. Overcome the distractions with demonstrations. Do everything you can so that 30 years from now, Latinos in America can look back to this moment as the reason they got involved.
1 second. Did you hear what he just said? So that Latinos in America can be proud that they got involved. Notice what he didn't say. That American citizens got involved. No, it's Latinos. Anybody who's Hispanic in America, you need to be fighting this. This guy is fighting for newcomers more than he's fighting for American citizens. To him, there is no distinction. For most of the Democrats, there is no distinction. If you're here, you should be able to do whatever you want, however you got here, and that's it. We need to be taking care of you. My pay, your pay. We need to be funding these people. No questions asked. Obviously, he doesn't talk to many Americans anymore. This is where California has slid, where I'm pretty sure if he went to American citizens that he's supposed to be representing, they would say, hey man, why are you fighting for me? Why aren't you fighting for what I need? I'm tired of seeing our politicians out there fighting for newcomers. They're telling you point blank, they don't care.
It starts with us. And I look forward to fighting each and every day alongside all of you.
Man, so I want to fight every single day. I have no words for these people. Yep, they're just voters to the Dems, absolutely. I don't want to see his greed card. It's about good versus evil at this point. You're absolutely right. Padilla is a California nut, but he's not alone, that's for sure. Why don't they go tour a federal prison? Excuse me. That's a great comment. Because I don't maybe that young woman who did that segment doesn't know what prison looks like. She's never been in prison. She's probably, as young as she is, she probably hasn't done anything. Why don't you go interview some criminals in jail and see how it's like? We'll see what they tell you. But then again, she doesn't even know it's a jail. It's like Club Alligator or something. If you don't understand that these people are indeed being detained and they are being deported, then to you it's like they're being treated badly. Doesn't matter if they've been here X or Y years, they're still criminals. And they can't accept that because to them, It's not criminals. They must have seen them on TV. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I would love this. Deport the supporters too. Let them go wherever they're going. Where's this? Man, if the where'd that go? It moved so fast. Here it is. Man, if the place is so bad, then get the heck out of our country and get the better life. I'm sick of illegals doing it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Then she's not qualified to be a journalist. It's so easy. So very easy to go and visit a jail. I mean, there's one basically in every county in America. I'm in Palm Beach County. There's a jail. There's one in Broward. There's one in Miami-Dade. You definitely don't want to go to Miami-Dade. And I'm sure every little county in the country has a lockup. She wouldn't have to go far. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if her studio's in New York. Rikers Island's right there. If she's in Atlanta, I'm sure there's one in Atlanta. Absolutely positive. Never been to it, don't want to ever go to it, but I'm positive there's one in Atlanta where CNN studios are. And so it'd be very easy. I'm sure they've arranged some sort of jailhouse interviews in the past. Go see them. Go hear what they say. Yeah, how is it in here? Don't drop the soap. That's another thing they didn't. Oh my. Because she might see some things she ain't really prepared for. So what else kind of things happen there? Well, at night, maybe you want the lights on, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. Because, this guy over here is like, it's been a while, man. Hey, man. Oh, sorry. She'd be shocked. Oh my God. Are there men loving men here? You say it's okay, right? Yeah, no worries. Well, until they do it on purpose without your cooperation. Jail's a jail. That look better than some other jails, and it's a temporary facility. And now they're upset because they're looking to enlarge these things all over the country. They're going to put Trump's got the money now because of the big, beautiful bill, and they're just going to make them bigger. Bring in more beds, more tents, do whatever you need to do. So if you're hearing this, if you're in the sound of my voice and you're hearing what they just said, Alligator Alcatraz is like, maybe you take your things into your own hands, take the $1,000, use the app, and get out. Why is that so difficult? You can't stay. If they catch you, they're going to put you away. Period. Everybody knows that at this point. Be done with it. Grow up. I am empathetic. I do have a feeling for people who have been let stay here by the Obama and Biden administration, and they've been led to believe that they can do whatever they want. But at the same token, as they now know, they know for sure, then you have to be responsible and do something about it. Because, they should be playing the song on every station at this point. Bad boys, what you gonna do when they come for you? All right, let me tell you real quick here about the red, no, not the red knife. We've got the signatory knife, right? Let me just make sure. Yep. All right, so I've done many videos where I've shown you this red knife. Now, Patriot Addict, because they love the way you guys are, they're offering what they're calling this Trump signature blade. And that's the Trump signature blade. It's basically the same knife that you've seen on my videos and people have got, people in the audience have received. But it's basically the same knife. But the difference is two things. Actually three things. First thing, the difference is the color. It's black and blue and white and red, which has 4547 on it. And then the other number two thing is on here is it's much sharper. This is a very sharp blade. Number three, it's got an etching of Donald Trump on it. Let me see if it's in the light so you guys can see it. There it is. It's got the Donald Trump signature on it. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's got the quick release open. It has the window breaker, and it has the seatbelt cutter as well. This knife normally retails for $70. You guys here in the Fanfare family can get this knife, right? Wait for it, for free. Absolutely free. Just go ahead and click the QR code over here. The only thing that you have to take care of is a small shipping fee. Shipping fee is about 15 bucks or so. I will confirm that eventually in terms of what the shipping, I guess it changes depending on where you live. But it comes in this nice package, and it's just for you people here, the Fanfare family. Yeah, so they're doing it. I like it. They help me out. They're one of our sponsors, one of our partners, and they have all kinds of different stuff that they like us to, provide to the Fanfare family. So if you like this, go ahead and click the QR code. There's no subscription. There's no additional fee. You just pay the shipping costs, and you get it pretty quick. So that is the Trump signature knife, and go ahead and click the QR code, and it's yours. All right, so let's move on. And oops, I clicked the wrong button there. But 1 second. And all right, so let's talk about Epstein. I'm going to be very careful here, but there's something afoot that I think you guys have to see and understand what exactly is going on. You see, at this point, it doesn't seem like it's working for the Democrats anymore. They thought they had something, and now all of a sudden, they don't. So listen to some of this stuff.
Molly, Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer, or at least Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, who's been speaking a lot on TV, is very clear on the fact that they would like a commutation or a pardon. Like he's not mincing words about that. Donald Trump was asked about that. Of a possible 100 answers he could have given, he just dredged it up again. He said, I have the power. And it's not a conversation to have right now, but I have the power to do it. Which I just, if I were his advisor, I would have said, don't draw attention to that.
Yeah, there are so many ways, as someone who interviews politicians all the time for my podcast, there are many, many ways not to answer a question. I actually even have a theory that people just don't answer questions so much. So a great answer would have been, I went to the Fed yesterday. Did you see that? And instead he was like, I can do it if I want. So again, this goes back to him being just a very undisciplined politician, which has really worked for him for a decade. And the problem is now, this is not a scandal that is a mainstream media scandal. This is a scandal that comes from the base, that affects the base. And so this is why it's a problem for him, because if you look at the polling, about 10% of his base is QAnon questioning, QAnon.
I assume many of you are in the base. What's QAnon? You see, every time they say that, it shows they have no idea what they're talking about. That was a made-up term in liberal circles. It means absolutely nothing. It doesn't exist. And what I find interesting is that Miss Molly Big Glasses lady here is telling an MSNBC audience what Trump supporters think. And so the three of them are pontificating on what Trump supporters actually think, which I find to be quite funny. You probably have never talked to a Trump supporter, but yet they're telling you it is a Trump supporter scandal. All right, so let me take things back a step here. We heard all of this stuff, I'd say middle of the week or so, when President Trump and they decided to announce to people that they were going to go see Ghislaine Maxwell. And as I've been explaining to you the movie that you're watching, I want you to always remember, and you can even take Dan Bongino's post from earlier, they're working on something and they're not ready to reveal stuff. So by the time Tulsi Gabbard, by the time Pam Bondi, by the time Todd Blanche, by the time you hear what they're doing, you must begin thinking, since I now know, it means they've been working on it for quite some time. They didn't call me up today and decide to talk on the press and say, you know what, we've been thinking about it. We're going to go see Ghislaine Maxwell. No. There had to have been things happening in the background for quite some time. These idiots don't understand that or don't want people to know that. This didn't happen in a day. There had to have been ongoing discussions. How would they even know she'd want to talk? And so you have to, as a Trump supporter, have to understand what the play is that you're watching. By the time he decides to go to the prison in Tallahassee and talks to Ghislaine, something has already transpired way in advance. There's no other way that she would have been agreed to do something if they hadn't been working on it for quite some time. It just doesn't work that way.
Jason, and that crew is not going to be happy with answers like that, boring answers like there's nothing to see here, because they have opened this conspiracy mindset, and now I'm not sure how you shut the door on it.
Okay, so here's how you shut the door on it. If you're going to do a deposition for a lawsuit, your neighbor broke your fence, you're going to sue your neighbor. You don't walk into the lawyer's office and he's like, okay, let's go ahead and do a deposition. No, it takes prep. They're going to tell you, here are the questions they're going to ask you. Here's how I want you to answer. Here's what you can answer. Always look at me if you have a question. I will tell you if it's okay to proceed. So as you hear that Todd Blanche went to the prison to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, you have to also know that in days in advance, Ghislaine's attorney was briefing her. Here's what they're going to do. Here's how they're going to say it. Say, I don't know for these type of questions. Here's say this, say that. So it didn't happen in a 24-hour period. Pam Bondi announces that they're going to form a strike force and they're going to start looking at all these different things. And then we find out very quickly, hey, yeah, so part of this is we're going to go ahead and start talking to her in the prison. Which means it had already transpired before. In terms of where they were doing. By the time they told you, it was already in process. You have to, if you don't grasp that, then you're going to not see the rest of the movie here. Because all of this at this point is leading to, I would say, a little bit of worry in the Democrat Party.
Of course, Ghislaine Maxwell knows that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, but I don't think Todd Blanche takes the risk of going in there and being told to his face, yes, Donald Trump committed some sort of horrible crime. So I think,
So if he didn't risk going in and being told this, then they had to have planned this out and went back and forth. He just didn't walk in with his briefcase. All right, how you doing, Miss Maxwell? Let's talk. And she dropped something on him. Nope. So now you know specifically, that guy's a lawyer, I am not. He just said it very fast. Most people would go by their heads. There's no way they just decided one day they're going to wake up and go in here. Take it a step further. No one has interviewed this woman. Not Merrick Garland, not Bill Barr. They all locked her in there and threw away the key. They didn't want to know what she had to say. So when people start saying to you, well, why didn't she talk before? I can talk inside my cell all I want, but unless somebody's coming to see me with a stenographer, it doesn't matter. Nobody came. Nobody said, hey, listen, let's go talk to Ghislaine. Nope, nobody talked to her. Why? Why did nobody ever talk to this woman? That's a question.
It's to create this impression, yes, they're really investigating, and B, to create a vehicle through which DOJ can eventually announce Maxwell has cleared Donald Trump.
Okay, you ready for my theory?
Yeah.
He is there to collect scalps, and not an orange one. His mission is to come home with names that she's prepared to name publicly. The higher placed they are in progressive Democratic circles, the better. So that if she's willing to say X, Y, and Z by name were involved with Epstein beyond just flying on the plane or visiting the island, then for Trump, it's the political win that he thinks he needs, where He points in a different direction, and maybe in that circumstance, he cuts her some slack, offering clemency.
See, what he just described there was the movie. Yeah, just forget about it. Don't talk about this anymore. He already knew what they were doing. I remember, I can show you my videos. I'm like, I'm not talking about this because something's happening. Don't listen to all the people, blah, 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 and X, and people were in the chat going, oh, you don't care about the kids. And I'm like, you have no idea of the movie that you're watching. And now in hindsight, people are like, oh, yeah, you did say that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's called a head fake. It's called look this way and then pass that way. And everybody keeps falling for Trump's head fakes. Once you realize that this had to have taken quite some time, now you realize, or you should be realizing, this was all set up. If you guys had joined me on some of my Rumble jump overs, remember me talking about an eminence front. It's a put on. It's a put on. And I think too many people think they're in the old days of government where they think they can tell what's going to happen. And one of the things we can see with this guy, Trump, is you don't know where it's coming from. He acts like a mob boss. I mean, he grew up in New York City and dealt with a lot of these people, and he acts like a mob boss. Look you right in the eye. No, we ain't doing nothing. This Epstein stuff, it's a hoax. Go away. And he knew as he was saying it what they were doing. You look at the time frame, look when he said it, and now all of a sudden, out of the blue, yeah, she wants to talk to Trump. He's good. He's not that good. Nobody's that good. He had her, they had her in the dugout waiting to call her up when it was time, and how long the attorneys needed to work out all the vetting and how they were going to verify this and where it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. And so now you find out yesterday she's been given limited immunity. Means if the stuff she says comes out to be true, then she would get further immunity. So now we get told, we don't know, we get told that she names or she's questioned about 100 names. Do you think that actually happened? Or is that something else that we're wondering, did this really happen? Well, me personally, I don't think Trump would tell you how many names she said. She may have said 400 names. Remember, they had 2 days of a deposition for like 9 hours. You can name a lot of people in 9 hours. Or you could hand somebody a document. Or you could hand somebody a thumb drive. There's so much. Nobody knows what happened inside that jail except her attorney, and the DOJ. And only certain people in the DOJ. So when they're telling everybody, oh, she named 100 names, that's what they wanted you to think. That's what they want you to know. You just heard Dan Bongino say, I saw some really bad stuff I can't tell you. So what makes you think that there's only 100 names? Yeah, it works both ways, doesn't it? I can tell you whatever I want you to know. The only thing you know for sure is they met with her. You don't even know for sure if she was offered limited immunity. Yeah, at this point, things start going through your head like, how do we know? Think broadly as you're watching this come to fruition. There are so many moving parts. Now, I'm going to give you a hint as to what I think has happened already. You may call me a flake. I personally believe at this point a grand jury is already on the case. You're like, Barry, how could they possibly be a grand jury? Well, there's this thing I want to show you. I did some research this morning. Some people were talking about it. I'm like, could that really happen? What in the heck is it? Well, I think you're going to start hearing people talk about this. I think you're going to hear people start referring to this if you don't hear it like very quick. There's this thing called a Rule 6E motion. And so I'm going show it to you so you guys can understand a Rule 6E motion. What in the hell is a Rule 6E motion? All right. Sounds like a song by the Temptations. A Rule 6E motion. All right. So here's a Rule 6E motion. Rule 6E motion. A Rule 6E motion pertains to disclosure of matters occurring before a federal grand jury as governed by the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, 6E. This rule generally mandates secrecy surrounding grand jury proceedings, but it also outlines specific exceptions where disclosure is permitted with court authorization often required. So it's a secret grand jury. Here's a general rule of secrecy. Rule 6E establishes a presumption of secrecy for grand jury proceedings, meaning that certain individuals, including attorneys for the government and grand jurors, are prohibited from disclosing matters occurring before the grand jury. So it's a secret grand jury, a double secret probation thing going on here. Exceptions to the secrecy. While secrecy is a general rule, 6E provides several exceptions. And this is where it gets really neat. Okay, you ready for this? Such as disclosure to government attorneys for their use in duties or to other government personnel in the enforcement of criminal law. So she can tell other people in the DOJ. Court authorization, disclosure under some of the exceptions, particularly when seeking information preliminary to or in connection with a judicial proceeding, often requires a court order. So there's a way for a court to order it as well. Motions for disclosure. A Rule 6E motion is typically filed by a party seeking to obtain access to grand jury materials such as transcripts or documents for use in related legal proceedings. All this is happening or could be happening in secret. Now I wanted to show you something down here. Let's see if I can find it. But basically, a Rule 6E motion can be done ex parte. See, a Rule 6E motion being ex parte means I don't have to tell the other side. In this instance, they probably did because her attorney was involved. But it's secret. And so that would enable Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, to actually put together a grand jury, look at everything, and be completely secret. Now, some of you guys should be having light bulbs go off in your head going, oh, wow. Wow. This is like watching Inspector Gadget, but in a more interesting way. Yeah, like Daniel's like, get it now? And again, just like with everything else, go do your own homework. Go do your own homework and find out what a Rule 6E motion is and how it can be used by the DOJ to do what they're looking to effect here. And so the more you start looking at some of these things, forget these idiots on television, but you start looking at laws for yourself. You don't have to be a lawyer. It's pretty much self-explanatory. If I go ahead and file a 6E motion, then I can have a ex parte grand jury. I don't have to tell anybody. It's in secret. And so whatever she's doing and what she's saying to Todd Blanche, the government can't give her even a limited immunity without somebody signing off on it. So if nobody talked about this, I'm like, all right, so if they offered a limited immunity, then they would have to get that authorized by a judge. You know how sentencing standards are, and they'll say the prosecution, oh, we're looking for 10 years. They have to tell the judge what they want, and the judge can sometimes agree with them, or you can say, no, I think we're going to go with 4 years. Well, the same thing with a secret grand jury. And if you're going to cut a deal with a prisoner, it has to be approved. They want to make sure the prisoner isn't, dumbfounded. So what you're seeing right now is the culmination, in my estimation, of a grand jury, a secret grand jury that has been modifying and looking at this stuff the whole time. Because nobody else would talk to her. Now you've got somebody talking to her.
Okay. Good. So we partially agree, we partially disagree. So first of all, I do think that whatever names she names in that session as having committed crimes will come out eventually and probably sooner than later. I'm not sure where you are on this, but I don't think there's any way in the world DOJ actually prosecutes anyone based on that. Maybe there's some sort of release or announcement, but look, I spent tons of time as a prosecutor dealing with cooperating witnesses. I don't see any way DOJ comes to the conclusion that Ghislaine Maxwell is fully credible, fully reliable, somebody we want to invest in, somebody we want to ask a judge to reduce her sentence, somebody we want to indict based on her testimony, and then...
Notice he said, ask the judge. That's what I just said to you. Now, as he's going through his litany here about, hey, we can't do it, let me tell you why he's wrong.
Call at trial as a witness. So it could well be that there's naming of names, but no way is DOJ going to actually bring other indictments of this. And Michael, to your point, we learned yesterday that Ghislaine Maxwell had been asked about 100 different names. That came from David Marcus, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer. And I want to know, did she say any of those 100 committed crimes that she knows of? If she said none of them committed crimes, then I have serious questions about her credibility.
What if she said, and now you can prosecute? You see, if she sat across the table from Todd Blanche and said, yeah, Fred Jones and Joe Smith, yeah, I remember Jim Baker, yeah, Larry the Weasel, means absolutely nothing. I wouldn't even offer you limited immunity. It means nothing. So if you're telling me that Jim Baker is a name that you want to offer me, all right, Ghislaine, why would you think that Jim Baker should be looked at? Well, put this thumb drive in your computer and take a look at, I don't know, the file labeled Baker. Oh, nobody knows this. I don't know it, you don't know it, but what you're watching is he's absolutely right. No one's going to take her word. And Trump and Bondi are smart enough to know nobody's going to take Ghislaine Maxwell's word. You were trafficking kids. You're a scumbag. Nobody's going to believe a word you say. We saw what you did. There's only one way people would believe what she's saying is true. One way. And you know what that one way is. And Trump knows what that one way is. And Todd Blanche knows what that one way is. And Dan Bongino knows what that one way is. And Kash Patel knows what that one way is. And Pam Bondi. They all know there's only one way she can become a credible witness. And maybe that's what Dan Bongino was talking about. See how I tied that in? People who were mad at me before who probably unsubscribed and ran probably didn't know where I was going. See, just like I tell you with Trump, sometimes you got to watch till I come to the point. That's the point. Imagine if what got released to see if she could get limited immunity was a thumb drive or something, and they all huddled back in the Department of Justice and went, oh my God, it's worse than I even imagined. Just make it stop. Somebody turn this off. And then Dan goes, it's worse than I even thought. It shook me to my core. She's credible. She actually has stuff. Who would have had it? I don't know. Maybe her attorney. Maybe she had a kill switch. Who knows? But the only way, and there's only one way that Maxwell can become a credible witness. That guy was absolutely correct. Nobody's going to get arrested based on her pointing fingers. There's only one way. And that's perhaps is what Dan Bongino was telling us. I don't know, but I do know if they've done a Rule 6E and she's been giving them information that they can verify and vet. Here, let me just go back here. And where is that? All right. Let me go back here to this. So you can, when you look up the Rule 6E, you can see it for yourself. All right. So in the Rule 6E, where was that? Hold on, let me find it. It was about documents and other stuff. Oh, here we go. Rule 60 motion is typically filed by a party, the prosecution, seeking to obtain access to a grand jury material such as transcripts or documents for use in a related legal proceeding. So, let's say that's what they were doing. And that's what Dan was talking about. Because every person who's a lawyer, who knows a lawyer, is like, there's no way you could bring her in as a witness. All she would be doing is basically smearing people's names. So Jelaine said Fred's a pedo. Doesn't mean anything. Except for people on X would be like, hey, you can't believe Jelaine said Fred's a pedo. And they would run with it. But you don't want to do that to people who you can't prove it to. So there's only one way you can say Fred is a bad guy, is by showing, hey, look, here's what Fred did. Yep, we got Fred. We may never see these things. I would assume that if this stuff gets brought into a court, there'd be no press. They're not going to let people see this stuff because there's victims. But as part of the court case, you have to look at it. So listen how CNN once again sticks their foot in their mouth about Epstein.
This is the downside of the strategy that he has imported that got him elected. His entire strategy with the Epstein files was to try to give people the strong impression that this was Bill Clinton, this was Democrats, this was something that they were trying to hide. And now that this is all turned on him, he won't be able to convince his base that this is a transparent investigation at all. Like, I don't know what it would take for them to believe that there's no cover up. I mean, you've convinced a lot of these people. Part of your whole spiel is that the government isn't to be trusted. And then you're asking these same group of people to suddenly trust that this was all on the up and up. There is no list, that everything is as it appears, and they're just not going to buy it. And
see, this is one of the problems I had with the influencers who were putting stuff out, is because they gave the liberals some way to define us. They thought that some of these people who were chirping represented all of us, and it's not true. They made it appear as though, hey, they're going to lose the midterms over this. And it's not true. You have to question all these people now who were saying we're going to lose the midterms. Oh my gosh, you can't believe it. People are going to turn their back on Trump. And I've gone through the litany of things that Trump has done, and you're like, yeah, they're going to turn their back on Trump because this didn't go the way they wanted. And so CNN and these people, they can see what's being said on X. They can see the people who are saying it on X. And like, look, see, all these people are pissed off at Trump. He's going to lose. Except, unfortunately for them, they've got somebody on this panel who's going to tell them otherwise.
What's always interesting to me is like what it takes people to get off the Trump train. It's not the xenophobia, it's not the racism, it's not the bigotry, it is this.
But are they off the Trump train? I mean, I think this is the part of what Charlie is saying. I'm not so sure. Because I think that they really don't want to be off the Trump train. They want to be on the Trump train. They just want Trump to get in line with them on this issue.
I think that's exactly right, Abby. Look, I think for Trump, it does feel a little bit like the lady doth protest a little too much, right? But when it comes to his approval rating with Republicans, it's basically as solid as it ever was. You know, you put it up on the graphic before, where you saw the smallest decline was among Republicans. If you look at the average of polls, his approval rating with Republicans, still at about 90%. Of course, those same Republicans say they are dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far. Everyone is dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far with concern to the Epstein files. Everyone thinks that there's something more going on there. But then making that leap to all of a sudden that his base is moving away from him, at least at this particular point in the polling data, we're not seeing it.
Imagine going on a CNN show and your own pollster going, it's not really happening. What do you mean? It's a lie. His base ain't going anywhere. Which, of course, you already knew that. But they've been saying it all over X. Oh, the base is all messed up because and on the same panel that idiot Jamel was on, they're okay with this, they're okay with that, but this is going to sink them. And he's like, not really. What do you mean, not really? Yeah, they're okay. The base is right where they're supposed to be. All of you are right where you're supposed to be. Even if you were pissed that things weren't going the way you wanted because of the Epsteiniac stuff, you're still not bailing on Trump. You might have been saying, oh, this pisses me off. But you weren't going anywhere. You weren't going to vote for a Democrat. You weren't going to sit out. That's the same thing as voting for a Democrat. And so now they're understanding we're in big trouble, aren't we? Yeah. And it's going to get worse. The more things come out, whatever they're doing with Epstein. See, right now you just get your popcorn and watch and see what happens. There's no speculation to be had. A real assessment of this is something's happening. Something is looking so bad it's scaring Dan Bongino. But at the same token, now you know for a fact they're having communications with Maxwell about some sort of immunity. That's it. That's all we know. Everything else is conjecture. Anybody who puts out and says, "Oh, she showed him this or she showed him that," they're lying to you. This is so under wraps. I bet the grand jury, that whoever they impaneled, they've been under scrutiny as well. Thank God they're probably sequestered or nobody knows who they are. People are going to start looking now. Now they're going to start. They don't even know which grand jury it would be. I love the fact that she's in Florida. The fact that she's in Tallahassee really tells me something. If they're talking to a Florida judge, especially up in Tallahassee, the liberals are cooked. The Democrats are they're cooked. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine. They don't understand why we're on the Trump train. They're idiots. I tell you, they're idiots. Complete idiots. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's continue before my wife peeked in the door. Hey, dinner time? Hold on. I told you what time I'd be done. I'd be out of here by 6. So we'll get going.
There is clearly an aspiration, a desire for digital payments, much more so than it was in the past, and this is growing. We are now, in the surveys that we've conducted across the 19 members of the Euro area, we have more than 50% of the respondents who say we want digital payments.
All right. So this is Ursula, whatever, and they're now realizing what Trump is doing here in America is destroying this so-called New World Order. Hope I don't get in trouble for that. And their idea was to have a digital currency that they controlled, where you'd have to tell them if you wanted to buy some cookies. I don't think you need the cookies. We're going to decline that sale. I want the cookies. Nope, have some celery and shut up. Oh, no, you shopped at this store too many times. Gas, that implies you want to go somewhere. No, we're going to decline that. They wanted to control every aspect of your finances, including your spending habits. And Trump's out here going, not only are we not doing that, but we're going to do crypto. And it's freaking them out. And she makes a big mistake here by actually saying what their intentions really are. They're still looking to do it in some of these European countries. God bless these people in Europe. You think you've been effed so far because of the newcomers? You ain't seen nothing yet. Listen to what she says here.
Well, less use of cash, demand for secure and riskless payments. Where do we stand? We central bankers, we have been operating as a monetary anchor in relation to the commercial banks and the private money. If we are not in that game, if we are not involved in experimenting, in innovating in terms of digital central bank money, we risk losing the role of anchor that we have played for many, many decades. And
Did you hear that? If we're not doing this, we're going to lose the role as the anchor. And that's the role we have played for, quote, many, many decades. They're freaking out. They're no longer going to be able to control the movement of currency in the European Union. And they're starting to wig out and saying, this has been us. We're the ones who've been the anchor. We have controlled this. What do you mean, crypto? I wanted you to see that because there are a lot of people who watched our videos who are anti-crypto. I'll just leave it at that, or crypto novices. If there's anything you've seen in the last week that tells you might want to start getting yourself together. It's that woman telling everybody, hey man, we're losing it here. We got a problem. We've been doing this for decades, and now we're on the very precipice of losing control of your money. Now, you don't live in the EU, but this is what they wanted for the entire world. This is what Elizabeth Warren wanted. This is what Biden, well, he didn't know, but Kamala, this is what they were going to do. Imagine every single purchase in your life being determined and approved by somebody somewhere, watching you walk up to a terminal and put your card in and go, wow, there's 3 cups of cookies here. There's, no, fried chicken, no, you can't have it. Far-fetched? That's what they want. And maybe they can just divert your money. Or maybe they say, you know what, we're going to hold your account. You said something naughty on social media. Ask the Canadians about that. They are losing control because of everything that Trump is doing. This is another plus in Trump's hat that you guys probably didn't hear. You didn't see. And she just let the cat out the bag. You know, we've got to do this. It's our control. We've done this for decades. Meaning before digital currency, they were screwing around with the monetary policy in these various countries. We always thought the recession and depression and all this stuff wasn't orchestrated. And she just let it out. We've been doing this for decades. That should scare you. That she felt comfortable saying that. That people over in these other countries over there should have shocked them and said, yeah, so you're telling me there was no recession, there was no this, there was no that, everything has been orchestrated because you control it? Here, you can hear her say it one more time, and when I heard it, it chilled me. Let's listen to her again.
In relation to the commercial banks and the private money. If we are not in that game, if we are not involved in experimenting, in innovating in terms of digital central bank money, we risk losing the role of anchor that we have played for many, many decades. And
I'm sure some of you guys heard it the second time. But did she really just say that? Yeah, she just said it. It's not Barry making it up. Control, we are the anchor. We tell the monetary system what happens. It just doesn't happen by accident. We need to have interest rates go up like Jerome Powell. We raise the interest rates. We want to lower the interest rates for whatever reason. We control that. You people, you ants running around, you do what we tell you. If we want to add taxes, very easy. We just add taxes. They want complete control of everything you purchase. Man, do we dodge literally a bullet by having Trump here. Oh, man.
We have historical examples of period where the central bank monetary anchor was not there, and that precipitated crisis after crisis. That certainly was the case at the time of the free banking in the 19th century. Do we want to go back?
Free banking? Oh, there's free banking? People can do what they want, pick where they want, spend what they want? Oh my God, that was just, it was horrible. It was a horror story back then.
To those days? Probably not. I would say certainly not from our vantage point, as a result of which we have to respond to the demand for those digital payments in order to maintain the role of anchor that we have been playing regularly.
Wow. I can't believe she said that out loud. Imagine feeling that brazen. Imagine feeling that you can tell the population on television, hey man, we gotta have control of your money. We can't go back to free banking. Free banking, that's crazy. Letting you decide what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it and how you're gonna run the economy. No. And so feel for the people in Europe at this point. Maybe that's why Trump's over there going, hey man, you're not messing with my golf courses. I don't know what y'all doing. Imagine that here. And you're telling me people are like, oh, yeah, this Epstein thing's really bad. Not really sure I want to vote for Trump again. Oh, they might go to digital bank currency. They go to digital bank currency. Could you imagine how things would be here? It'd be so much better. I'd love to put the control of my finances and my family's finances in the hands of people like Kamala Harris. Says nobody ever. We're trying to get Jerome Powell to get out the door, and these people are like, we need to go back to how we've always done it, and we're going to have to take control of your money. If that's the case, you really, really need to watch out. Share that with people, your poor friends in Europe. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts at this point. All right, I got a little bit more for you that we're going to cover, but I just wanted to make sure I showed you that so you guys know for sure how this thing is going to happen, because everything that they're doing at this point is panic. That's the best word to describe it. It's an absolute panic. They realize now what Trump is doing. And if this populism can take hold in other countries, they're absolutely effed. I mean that. That's why the guys like Macron, and he's pushing for other stuff with Palestine. That's why he's there right now talking to Starmer over in the UK. Yeah, okay, you guys can go do what you want to your people, but here you're going to pay up. Yeah, they want the U.S. dollar to fund those countries who are in trouble. Yep. Central Bank of Europe, eat the bugs, own nothing, live in the pod, and be happy. Oh, man, we dodged a moose knuckle. We sure did. Canadian truckers sure found out banks ordered to shut them down. So if you are watching this and you're like, what the hell? You may not realize it. You may want to go back and look and do some searching on a good search engine and find out what Canada did, what Trudeau did to the truckers. The truckers, remember, they were protesting, and all of a sudden they couldn't access a cent in their bank account. They would put their ATM cards in and would say, no more, bye. Can you imagine that? I want each and every one of you to imagine after this show, not before it, after this show, you decide what you're going to go do is take your wife out to dinner or maybe go get something to eat yourself, and you put in your credit card or your ATM or whatever, and it says, sorry, denied. And you're like, I know I got the cash in there. What do you mean? The board of the Central Bank of the United States has said you're not allowed to make this purchase. That's what happened in Canada. Someone says, coincidence that they shut down the dark website and talking to Maxwell at the same time. Yeah, now Sonny's talking. No. So, all right, Sonny, you don't let the cat out the bag here. How do you think that happened? How do you think that they shut down that website? Well, that probably came through the FBI and the DOJ, of which Dan Bongino is one of the top guys. I've seen some stuff that shake me to my core. Yeah, baby. And no one controls Marcus is like, no one controls the crypto, only the blockchain. Yeah, well, I see you and BLS are trying to let people know that, get in it, get in the game, understand. City Chase Bank just notified retirement account holders that these accounts will no longer get interest or count towards waiving bank fees. Wow. You don't see Zelensky begging for money from Trump. He's trying to pay up France and his husband's father wife. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Imagine creating a silly narrative to protect the person who protects pedos or is one himself. This is embarrassing. Oh, did I hurt your feeling, troll? Yeah, you know what's going to happen if SV's still here. You're going to be nuked. Club Alligator. I'm laughing so hard I fell out of the chair. So somebody's back a couple minutes and they're finding out, yeah, we didn't even know it was a prison. Yeah. They talk about so many humans being a threat to the globe because there's not enough resources. Yep, that's what they try to convince people. But then, of course, there's enough resources to bring all these newcomers in, all right? That's the hypocritical nature of what the Democrats do. I can't do this because of this, but I can do this because it's not really, you know, what I tell you. You want to curb the population, but then again, you want to bring in millions of people who aren't supposed to be here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're already doing it in Europe. Yeah, very, 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 very carefully. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so let me move on so you guys won't be here. We're almost done. I got a couple of fun things for you. Speaking of fun things, hold on one second. Let me show you this. Some of you guys laugh at me, and some of you guys. Wait a minute. Where is this? All right, let's continue. Okay, so I've got some I guess we can call a different subject. I wanted to move on from just politics for like the last 15, 20 minutes here. Let's talk about some football since we're about to go into football season. I don't know who you like or who your favorite team is, but we're about to see some football. And the ESPN reporters and these idiots that cry for ESPN are upset because Trump is making inroads with football. So let's see what Trump said about football. All right, ready? Or not Trump said, but some of these players are.
You sit on the couch for 4 months and it's like, man, I wish I was in OTAs, man. You know, it's good dropping the kids off and it's good, you know, picking the kids up from school, but I want to go to work. I go to work, and, you know, the Washington Redskins called me.
All right, so that's Von Miller, formerly of the Buffalo Bills, who's now going to be playing for the Washington team that I can't name. I guess I can call them the Commanders. And he said that in a press conference, and the press freaked out. You said the R word. You called it the R word. No, you can't say that. I can say what I want. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a big, fast, strong grown-ass man. And so they're going to pay me like 7 figures, and I don't care what they put on the helmet. I'm here to play some football. And the press vilified him. And because he happened to say that word. And I loved when he said it, not because I have, don't care, they're not my team, but the fact that now people are emerging and saying, go F yourself. I'm no longer going to let you control what I can say. And power to him for saying that.
You know, a month and a half ago and started talking, and son agreed to come here to Washington about a week and a day. Yeah, about a week and a day ago, and here I am. So excited to be here.
That's the story. As I started this video, I was like, there's a difference between news and opinion. The news is Von Miller will now be playing for the Washington team. He's happy, they signed him, he's healthy, he's ready to go. But the opinion was, you can't say these words. I'm here to play football, okay? I'm not here to run for office or deal with your feelings. F your feelings. I'm a football player. Now, another football, and this guy here you're going to hear talking is John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. His brother is Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, and he was formerly the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He also was a star player with the Michigan Wolverines. So, this guy, football camps just opened this week. Go Dolphins. And with everything going on, 100 men running around, sweaty, hitting each other, trying to stay safe, not pull a muscle. With all this going on, some reporter asks him this stupid question.
Said, denigrating things about Baltimore, including who won't live there. As a prominent representative of Baltimore,
Well, how you frame that question? I would frame the question like, you got a chance to go visit with the president, man. What was that experience like? It was amazing. It was awesome.
My nipples hurt here. I'm around so much testosterone, and all this testosterone. Can I ask you a question, Kasia? I cannot believe you went to go talk to President Trump. What was that like? He laughed in his face. It was awesome. It's over. The Democrats, these libnuts, they can't take it. Testosterone is back. There is no longer any, quote, toxic masculinity. Go after yourself. We're talking football. Football season starts, I think, today. I think the Hall of Fame game may be next week or something. And you're talking about a guy who makes his money managing hulking men running around and running into each other. And your little shrunk up things is asking him, was it okay to go see Trump? I love his answer here.
I promise you, I root for our president. I want our president to be successful, just like I want my quarterback to be successful, and I want my team to be successful. And it was an amazing experience. It's not often you get invited and you get a chance to do something like that as a family. We were there. My daughter was there. Jim's daughters were there. My mom and dad were there. My mom and President Trump, just seeing how he treated her was really meaningful, and that's the fourth president. Now, Jim met 7. Jim has met 7 presidents, so he's got
so he's talking about his brother Jim Harbaugh, who is a star quarterback. John, he may have played, but he wasn't getting accolades. He's a great coach, but Jim, he was with the Michigan Wolverines, went to the Rose Bowl, did this, played against Ohio State, lost, and and then he played Pro Bowl, and now he's a coach with the Los Angeles Chargers. So he's like, I got to go with my mom and dad for, but Jim's been there a whole bunch of times.
I think he pointed it out. Did you guys notice that? Right, he's got 7, I got 4. So had a chance to meet President Obama twice. Incredible experience. Had a chance to meet President Biden when he was vice president in Iraq and spent a lot of time with him in Iraq, which
is very interesting here, because you're seeing some guy who's saying, I respect the office. It was awesome that I got to go and talk in front of the troops in Iraq with even Vice President Biden. I got to meet President Obama. My boys, my men got to go to the White House. That is the ultimate for an athlete. It has only been in the last couple of years that you guys have a problem with, hey, he's black. You're going to go see Trump? Oh, my God. No, it doesn't matter what the politics are. What matters is that these kids, these young men, are being heralded and acclaimed by the president of the country that they play football for. You're trying to make it political. Like, I've gone to see Biden, I've seen Obama. These guys love this. You have only made it a problem. And I just thought to myself, it's amazing. I never got to go to a White House. I got to go to governor's mansions. I got to go to mayor's offices, all the different things. And every time you're asked to come to one of these things, you're just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. This is awesome. I'm getting to meet these people and understand what's going on. And I get the tour and all this kind of stuff. And you're trying to make it about, he said some bad stuff about black people and men and my LGBTQ friends and my Transformer friends. And shut up. We don't care anymore.
And then, 24, 25 years old, Jim got invited also to the White House to meet President Reagan because he was a Heisman Trophy candidate, and we got to go as a family. So I met President Reagan, have a picture in my office of that. So those are moments that I definitely cherish, and it means a lot.
We're back, baby. We are so back. Somebody asked, is there a second show today? No, I don't do 2 shows on Saturdays and Sundays. I just do like one show, try to pack it all in, let you guys hear some things. I'm so psyched. I am so happy that football is back. And it's back in the way I remember it. Not what it's been for the last couple of years, where the whole kneeling crap and all this stuff and hey, end racism and all. I'm here to play football. I'm here to watch football. I'm hoping a team I like wins, but in any essence, I want to see guys run into each other. I'm a lineman. All right, so to me, it makes me happy watching guys slam into each other. Other people might like to see long passes and people running touchdowns. I go to a game and Robin's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, watching those guys bang heads. That's the action. Those 5 guys on either side of the ball, and their heads are going like this every single play. That's what I watch. Everybody else can watch the little guys run around and catch passes. I don't care about that. I want to see football, man. Football. And it's back. Dolphins open camp, so I'm sure we're ready for another sucky year. But even worse than that, Notre Dame should be hitting the camp real soon, and I'll have my continued 40-year agony for my boys out in South Bend. So pretty soon you're going to see where, I'm going to have to disappoint Robin because she's got all her watercolors up there. You're going to start seeing some Notre Dame stuff up there, okay? Notre Dame. Oh yeah, I'm all in it. See if I can't get out to South Bend and see some games. So before I close, I want to show you, I'm going to show you guys something that's remember. Let me put it up. Some of you guys may not remember this. Hold on. All right, so if you'd like to submit a video, I haven't been putting this up lately. If you'd like to submit a video, you can go to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Use your computer and you can record a video. And you get a minute to say whatever you want. Don't be embarrassed. There are no bad videos, except if the sound is bad, then I can't let people hear it because it's like, hey, how's it going? It doesn't matter what it looks like, but you have to be able to hear people talk. So there was 1 or 2 I tried to fix, but people are just doing it. It's the first time they've actually gone on camera, and they're enjoying it. So if you'd like to be a part of the show, go ahead to fanfareshop.org, submit video, and love to have you. Love to show you. So I'm going to show you some videos here in a second. Before I do, I want to show you guys something, and you guys have seen it. I had to take these from Lily because she takes she chews on the paper inside of my shoe. She gets in here and she like bites it. But these are the Trump sneakers. They're pretty awesome, pretty cool color. Some people don't like them. They say they're too bawdy, whatever. But you know how sometimes you see something and think, okay, I need those in my life like yesterday? That was me when I first came across these. The Trump Never Surrender gold sneakers. They aren't just shoes. They're a full-on, bold, fearless statement and unapologetically patriotic. They're pretty cool looking. You can see them right here. I mean, just look at them. Gold finish, the red, white, and blue on the side there. It's like wearing a piece of American pride right on your feet. And let me tell you, they don't just look good, they feel good. The quality is legit, they're comfortable, durable, and surprisingly lightweight. These kicks aren't sitting in the back of a closet gathering dust. You'll actually want to wear them out. Go out, get out in the street, party with these things, start some conversations. You're definitely going to start some conversations. And what I love most is the message they send. Never surrender. It's not just a slogan, it's a mindset. Whether you're out making moves or just walking into the weekend, these sneakers are a reminder to stand strong and never back down. They've also become a favorite gift. I mean, I'm sure you know somebody, some Trump supporter that would want these sneakers. Yeah, or just a collector, because I got so much stuff here. So much stuff. I got my new hat here too, it's like that. But here's the best part. Each one of these sneakers are part of a limited run, so you're not getting mass-produced junk. And they're so cute. I know I shouldn't say cute. That's not something a guy should say. But if this sounds like your vibe, or if you're already picturing someone in your life who'd flip for these, go check them out. For a Fanfare audience, you get a special discount at themagaoffers.com/Barry. I'll spell it THEMAGA, the MAGA offers, OFFERS.com/Barry. Use that link to grab your pair now and take up to 15% off your order. Don't wait too long. They're going pretty fast. Own a piece of the movement and step into something legendary. All right, so now I got some videos to show you from some of our Fanfare family before we close here, okay? So this is going to be pretty cool. Let me get it rewound so you guys aren't missing it because it hit the button. All right, here we go. Ready?
Cunningham, thank you for being such a great, informative show host. This is Mike P. Fitzpatrick. I just wanted to let you know that I've been watching you for almost a year now, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. I was an avid Rush Limbaugh listener, and I started in 1986, and now I'm listening to you. You are my new Rush Limbaugh. God bless you, brother, and thank you for everything.
You're making me blush, bro. Even being the same sentence as El Rushbo. Thank you very, very much. So you see, that's how it's done. And you just turn on the camera and I can include you in the show. So thank you very much for the video. Love it. Let's go to the next one. And please say your name so everybody can hear who you are. So if they see you here in the Fanfare chat, they can obviously contact you. So that was very good. All right, next one.
Okay, here we go, Barry. 1 minute. Barry, it's James Garner here, and I'm launching a new channel, Rooted in Recovery, Truth and Purpose on YouTube. And it's for people who face addiction, trauma, or lost themselves in the chaos. People looking to find peace within, understand who they really are, and rise stronger. For me, music's been a part of that healing. I write and play from a place of pain turned into power. And it's not just songs, it's testimony. I see a movement rising, people waking up, pushing back against lies, and standing for faith, family, and freedom. And I respect the way you speak truth boldly. I really do. And I'd love to connect, man. Maybe make a voice or a song to the message. I really want to thank you for what you're doing, brother. Keep going. God bless, and Godspeed.
You know, sometimes people say, how do you do 2-3 hour shows most of the days? And that's why I'm hearing from you guys, whether it's in the chat or, you know, somebody making a video. And of course, Robin, it keeps me pumped. It keeps me like, you know what, I got to do this. You know, I understand there's trolls in here and you know, they say what they want. When SV's around, he can take care of it, or Roaring Rage or Beth. But people get in here, and for the most part, we have developed a community, which is not unlike a lot of other channels. And I love that. I love that for each and every one of you guys that you're involved in it. People have asked me about the hat, and I got sent this hat as a gift. I picked it up yesterday, and here's the letter that was in with the gift. And it says, I'll read it again. Hey there, Barry. First, let me start by saying excellent job. My wife and I have chosen to watch your show above the rest, and we forward and share episodes with our friends and family. We live in Iowa. You provide the latest breaking news minute by minute and on point. No riffraff, very sincere, honest, and in-depth on entry level. You rock. Thank you. God bless President Trump. God has chosen him to restore and repair our country. He who praises God and worships the Lord Jesus shall have everlasting life. Amen. Shannon and I have an idea we'd like to share with you. We trust you with your expertise. We have a great idea, and I'm going to not tell you the idea because it's their idea. But in any event, they created this hat for me. And yesterday I couldn't, they sent me the letter and they signed it, and there was no phone number or email. So I said, can you guys try to find these people? And yes, we do now. They contacted Ashley in the email, and I'm like, great. So I will be contacting them on Monday and see if we can't get some of these hats to give away. I mean, it's an awesome hat. This isn't even a sponsor. This is an actual hat. It's so good. I mean, look, it's not like one of those snapback hats. It's an actual full, you know, elastic hat for my big dome, and it fits perfectly. My wife loves it, and I love it. So thank you, Jim and Shannon, I believe, right? Is it Jim and Shannon? Jimmy and Shannon, love it. So we're gonna see what we can do about these hats, whether we can get them out to people and do a giveaway. I'm not going to sell them. I don't believe in selling stuff to the family. I wouldn't sell it to my sister. I'm not going to sell it to you. So we'll go ahead and we'll give away some. And by the way, giveaways, Robin is working through the Bibles. I don't know what number she's up to, but the Bibles are steadily going out. I couldn't believe the response. We had over 800 people ask for a free Bible. 800. God works in mysterious ways. Thank you guys very much, and we're working on it. You've created a new job for her. All right, let's continue.
Hi, Barry. Hi, Robin. Hi, Ashley. Hello. I'm Tara. And I'm Manny. And we live in New Jersey. Yes, so no side jokes. So we know. We're 100% MAGA. We believe in prosperity. And what we are asking you is to please continuously talk about real estate, about triplexes, duplexes, bird dogging. From what I heard, when you find a property that looks crappy, work with an investor and they'll give you a fee. We're looking to be into real estate. We're looking to prosper in that and beyond. So if you could please help us, we really would like to link up with you and really want to know about real estate. We know about Florida. My daughter graduated from Lynn University. Parents live in Plantation. Prosperity is on our path.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do some real estate tutoring without it interfering with the show. I might have to do a Zoom call. I'm working on that right now, putting that together. But fantastic. Yeah, I'll tell you, you think I'm verbose when talking about politics? Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. I go on for hours and hours. I used to fly around the country doing seminars, and they were all day seminars. We get there at 8:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon, and we would break for an hour for lunch. And people are like, how can you do this? You don't have any notes. Well, the one thing about real estate is if you're passionate about something, and if you learned it and you understand how to do it, and you keep educating yourself on different markets and everything else, it becomes second nature. So now when I look at a property, you just give me an address, and within like 15 minutes, I can tell you what it's worth and what I would pay for it. And then the people I work with, like JJ, same thing. Boom. Hey, what do you got? Okay, I got this. What do you think? Here's what I think. You verify. And it literally happens that fast. So getting people up to speed to know your farm area and understand what you need to be that person in your area where you want to work, and you need to know it like the back of your hand. You need to know the house on 121 Elm Street, I know what it's worth. If it comes on the market, I know what I can pay for it. And then also you need to know how much you can get in terms of money for it. And then you also have to know how much you can sell it for, if you're going to sell it or if you're going to hold it for rental. All that stuff is very, very quickly. There's not an address in South Florida that you could say, Barry, show me the information on it, that I couldn't get in probably no more than 15 minutes. I'll come back and tell you. I'll tell you who owns it. I'll tell you if they got divorced. I can tell you if somebody died. I can tell you if the city has put a lien on the property, if they've got code violations, if the mortgage isn't being paid, when's the last time they paid their mortgage, how much the mortgage is. It's amazing once you begin getting into this stuff. I always call it the autopsy of a house. And when I was doing my seminars, I would show people how to do the autopsy, because there's always some reason why somebody is selling, and how to find that reason, because most sellers aren't going to tell you, I'm selling it because I'm getting divorced. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, hi. No, I don't even go to a house. By the time I go to a house, I already have all the answers, just like a lawyer. I don't even have to ask him. I like walk in. We walked into one house, and all of a sudden it was just like kind of empty. And Robin goes with me, and I'm like, "You feeling a woman in here?" She's like, "There ain't no woman touching this house." Okay, and you see the pictures of the kids and the guy, but there's no kids of the mom. And now we know what happened. And you smell the money at that point.
Hello, my peeps, Lady Veronica, Barry, and Mods. Thank you for showing me that President Trump is being honest with all of us. And I'm happy that President Trump is okay. I'm praying for him and his family and his administration. The guy did took the bullet for us. God is king. And I'm taking this opportunity about AI. I'm using it for art and for school. I'm having so much fun with it. a little bit about me. I'm a homeschool uni student, self-taught. I'm gonna be second year this year, and I like to draw. So I want to say this message because I only have unlimited time. God bless you, Barry, and your family and mods. God bless the Fanfare community. God bless President Trump. God is king.
Amen, girl. Amen. Two things what I think people should do is say your first name and then give us your YouTube handle so we can see who these what is it? Is she in here? I'm not sure if she's in here. I thought somebody reached out to her. But in that regard we can all refer to you. Mama Rama says she got her Bible on Friday. On a day that I really needed it. Isn't that how it always is? God comes when you need him. Absolutely. All right, so I'm glad you got that. But what she had said in her video is she's starting to get into AI. I absolutely love that people are taking the initiative to get out there and do some things. I want the hunger. I love the hunger from people.
Hey, Brother Barry, this is Pastor Eric. Just wanted to give you a shout out, brother, and love your show. I don't get to watch all the time, but when I do, I'm always blessed. Thank God for you and what you're doing. And I just want to read one verse to you. Daniel chapter 2, verse 21. It says, "And it is he who changes the times and the epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to wise men and the knowledge to men of understanding." So President Trump is in office by the grace of God. So to all the listeners of Fanfare and Mr. Barry Cunningham, let's pray for our dear President Trump. And Barry, if you ever need a pastor to come on, a guest pastor, hey, brother, give me a call. God bless you.
And like I've shown you with this, there is no rule. There's nothing that says you have to be, praise the Lord or anything. I just love that people are taking it upon themselves to do what they need to do. I mean, again, you can just go there, fanfareshop.org /submit video and give it a shot. And you can do it a couple times until you feel proficient at it, or if you don't like the way it looks or something. By the way, Phil, he's often in the chat. Phil sent over 2 videos and they're great looking. But there was no sound. So Phil, whatever it is that you said in your videos, they look great, but there was no sound. You forgot to turn on your microphone, which I know how that is because many times I've been on the show and Barry, do something with your mic. Oh, I forgot to hit the button. So Phil, you forgot to hit the button, bro. And thank you very much, Ben. That was great.
Hi, Barry. Fanfare community. My name is Judy from Colorado. And I love your show, Barry. I love the way you put it together and the way you do that. Look, brilliant. Love your show. One question I wanted to see you look into are the envelopes that were at George Bush Sr.'s funeral in 2018. He died in November 2018. And at the funeral, the high-ups opened and saw those white envelopes. Wondering if you could look into that. And again, I love the show. Watch it all the time, my brother and I. And I'm in Littleton, Colorado. Blue State. Let's go, Red. But again, love you guys and love the show so much.
I love when people you can tell they're nervous and they're not used to doing this. And then as they get into it more, the next video will be different. Like her sound, I had to do some stuff to get the sound up. But you got to keep trying. So she asked about those envelopes. You remember those envelopes where everybody was like, oh my God, what's on this envelope? And nobody has ever talked about what was on those envelopes. People have had some conjecture, but the answer to your question is, I don't know. Nobody knows what was on those envelopes. Maybe with everything we're seeing, we might find out. Maybe those envelopes had some information from, I don't know, that lady who they went to talk to this past weekend. It will be interesting.
Hi, Barry. My name is Marion. And I'm Marie.
We're sisters, and my sister introduced me to you, and we wanted to say thank you so much for everything you do and giving us all the good news. We recently got into Robinhood. My sister is buying the dip.
Yes,
and we wanted to thank you for that information.
Yes, I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting used to it. I'm learning more about the trends, and when to buy, when to sell, and then when to buy again. So I'm working on one stock right now. I have invested in several, but I'm concentrating on XRP. So right now I sold it, and we're gonna buy the dip when it goes back down. I'm gonna buy the dip.
Yeah, she just used $100 to get started, and today she made $300.
Yeah.
I know Marcus and BLS, if they're in here, are like, yeah, you go, girl. You go. That's exactly it. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and of course, it's not, results may vary. you got to put those kind of disclaimers out there, but they're learning. They took a flyer with $100 and said, okay, let's see if we understand what we're doing here. And they made $300. That's a 300% return. Anybody can do this. You don't have to have thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, especially you don't want that right now because you just need to learn. That way, if you can afford to lose $100 or $50, you'll learn. It's on you, man. It's on you. So, ladies, congratulations.
Hey, Barry. Greetings from Southeast Oklahoma. You guys will see me in the web page for the Fanfare family on X as Jim Wright. That's my real name. Also on YouTube is Jim Wright. But when we jump over to Rumble, I'm in there as Papa Gun 69. I've served most of my life in the service of this country. I was in the Army and the Navy. I was a special operations guy. And then I left there and went to the civilian world for a while, and I worked 18 years for a railroad, retired from it, then went back to work for the federal government with the Department of Defense and retired from it. Looking forward to meeting you someday, Barry. Buy you a cup of coffee, man. Keep the faith.
As long as it's 1775 coffee, we're all good. I'd love to sit down with you. Absolutely. I love it. I just love that people are doing this, and you're getting to see some of the faces behind the handle. So as you're seeing people in the various chat, and you can see them, they're telling you that's perfect. Hi, my name is Jim. Here's my handle, and that way we can all look and see if Jim is here today. And yes, Jim, thank you very, very, very much for everything that you do and your service. Thank you very much.
Hey, Barry, Fanfare family. This is Andy in Olive Branch. And Barry, I saw your show today on what Tulsi Gabbard released, which I think is just wow. I mean, like you say, OMG. So how about this one for you? The real Joe Biden never made it to the presidency, as Trump has revealed in True Social. So check that one out. Also, another one for you I've heard is that Obama thinks his birth certificate is safe. However, the person who has it is no longer on Obama's side. The truth shall come out. So I guess we'll just see what happens when all this stuff comes out. Because I'm just like you, Barry. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think everything is true in what we've heard. And all we can do is watch the movie, like you say, and we'll see what happens. Again, walk by faith, not by sight. Have a great one.
Amen, brother. Amen. A lot of people have been looking for information on that birth certificate. That's another thing that has been a no-go on YouTube, even talking about that. You know, the biggest thing with me is reclaiming our ability to discuss things and not caring about someone's feelings. How does somebody get offended, or why is it off limits to talk about a birth certificate? Doesn't make any sense. All right, who we got next?
Hello, Barry. My name is Walter from Indianapolis, but actually I'm from Puerto Rico.
living in Indianapolis for 25 years now. And I've been following you for long now. And yes, I am a patriot, and I am MAGA. I voted for Trump the first time, and I voted for Trump the second time, and I voted for Trump in these last elections. I will be a Trumpist all the way, all the time. I don't care what people says. I just a patriot more than a Republican. So keep up the good work, man.
Patriot indeed. Thank you very much. So again, if you'd like to begin submitting some videos, I had to break that up into two different because there were so many. There was like 12 or 13 that time, and there were like 11 in the last one. But please, by all means, submit a video and it'll get played. Just make sure you play it back yourself so you can hear yourself, so you know it's actually happening. All right, so let me go ahead and do super chats real quick here. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, my time is good. I told Robin we would be done to get to the restaurant by 6:30. So I'm doing good. I'm not going to get yelled at. Saturday is our date night. I don't know which day is your guys' date night. Would love to know that. And here we go. All right. And sometimes, like tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to go to dinner, and then we're going to go to the casino. And I'm going to play a little lazy man's poker. There's no tournament. I won't be able to get into a tournament tonight because it's going to be too late. But, well, maybe not. Well, nah, it's going to be too late. Tournament start at 6. All right, so let's go here. Let me start at the top here. What's this? We got this one. This is from Bruce Marburger. Happy belated anniversary. Great show, and thanks to you, your family, and the mods for providing great preparations. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. This one is from Crow. Hey, Crow. For Bibles, they are God's love letter to his children. Yes. And like I said, Robin is pumping them out. I mean, seriously pumping them out. From what I understand, Ashley's going to be talking, I see Beth right there. She's going to be talking to Beth about helping out with some of the giveaway stuff so we can get these things out faster. And Captain Danny for Bibles. Without Jesus, I am nothing. He saved me from it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very, very much, Danny, and the rest. All right, let me go through this. Ken Rascioli, Trump needs to grab a film crew and go visit Rosie in Scotland. That would be funny. That would be really funny. Deep state swamp creatures are being exposed, Beverly. Yeah, they are. Roberto, how do I get a hat? Well, let me contact Jimmy. Let me get a hold of Jimmy and Shannon first. And once I speak to Jimmy and Shannon, we can figure out how we're going to do this stuff. I mean, it's really a nice hat. I love it. Thank you, Jimmy and Shannon. Vielka, Dan has always made open-end statements. Maybe a communication to somebody. Linda Acosta, I vote to abolish the House of Representatives and Senate. Taxpayers would save if we didn't have to pay people who refuse to come to work. And if they come, they refuse to do their job. You're right. David Yeoman, thank you. Phone Whittle, Barry, what if Ghislaine Maxwell attorney gave him video for the pardon deal? That's what might have happened. There might have been a thumb drive exchanged. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows at this point. We shall see. Vielka experienced that before sending cases to FBI. Smitty's Music Tavern. Maybe Dan's message was intended for someone else. Yes, that could be very well what's going on. Vielka, there is no statute of limitation for conspiracy for treason as long as the overt act is happening or continues, and it's continuing. Andrew Hessing, Trump is Tulsi's boss, but Tulsi doesn't have to play nice for anyone, and indeed has too much proven integrity to do so. She is very good, very strong. Bee's Heart, they know Tulsi isn't a play along to get along kind of lady, or she would have stayed in the Democrat Party. Exactly. Condition based, look up 652 statute of limitations for conspiracy. Thank you. native South Florida. Is CNN really not getting this? No, they're not. Men arrested at their probation meetings. Hello, only convicts have probation. Exactly. Native South Florida. This guy speaking in excellent English, probably a CNN worker. Yeah, you notice that? Yeah. Yep. He's talking about some of the people on their tape. Leona Harris, thank you. Larry, 1754. Alligator Alcatraz residents are so much better off than the homeless in our own country, and so many homeless here are our own military veterans. Agreed. Marcus Anderson, it's not fun when the rabbit now has the gun. Obama is fair game for prosecutions. Yep. Virginia Lem, Barry, you work so hard for all of us, and it shows. Thank you for being here and giving us fair, accurate, and truthful news. You're my favorite guy. Thank you very much. Bielka again. Trump feeds press nonsense to continue the movie. He does. Keep them chasing their tails. R. Heath, you notice that both men interviewed were picked up at their probation officer's appointment. Not immigration, but probation. Think about it. Yep, that's what the other guy just said. They had to have been convicted of a crime. These people are stupid. Bielka, Kalaine was carrying a box after the interview. Her attorney, not her. We didn't see her. You didn't see her, did you? RBI Sports, DB, you surely know that loose lips sink ships. We all know that you got this. Just tell us that you're working hard on eliminating the very strong odor of mendacity within our government. Absolutely. Ricky Williams, Barry and Fanfare family, for a musical escape, watch a band called The Warning at the Pepsi Center as an introduction. Power trio, three sisters from Mexico, pure rock drummer, also sing lead. I'm going to have to look them up. Okay. Stephen Lisner, DJT, they're after you. I'm just in their way. Hey, Neil, haven't heard from you in a bit. Great show. You give us only truth and the best real news. Thank you. You are the top podcaster in Wonder. Thank you very, very much. We would love a cap. Okay, we're going to have to figure out what we do with them, for sure. Mr. Charles, why don't we call them the Washington Whiteskins? Why don't we call the Cleveland the team the Caucasians? Please don't block me. Let's have a conversation without calling me a troll. All right, so if it offends you that they're called by the name that they've been called for decades, did it offend you back then? Or only once everyone started complaining? My high school was called it was the Indians back then. Nobody I knew was offended. In fact, even people who were Native Americans had no problem. You see, what you're saying is, unless you tell me in 1995, 97, 98, 2001, 2002, unless you tell me you were offended every year before Obama got in office, you're telling us all that you were brainwashed. Because maybe you should go talk to the tribe that the logo was made from, and you would see they're okay with it. I'm getting ready to go to dinner and play poker at the Seminole Casino on a reservation. Tell me if they're offended. Maybe I'll do a video. Hey, you guys offended that the Washington team might go back? No, we love it. It's the white people who have a problem. Jeanette, bad enough to be a Dolphins fan, but even worse to be a Browns fan. 3 years, it'll be 80 years, no championship. Go Buckeyes. That's probably, I see you say Buckeyes, that's why I like Notre Dame so much, because it gives me more excitement than watch these idiots in the Dolphins uniforms. Hey, Ben, rock on, Barry. I will be live later if you want to jump on. It's date night. The wife who sits idly by and waits for me after all these shows says, yep, Saturday is date night. Good luck tonight. Thank you. Deb Blank. I got my signature Trump knife. I love it. Can I get the link to Lear Capital? I want to make a purchase. All right, the link to Lear Capital. Hold on. Let me find it here. I have it in my dashboard. Hold on. I'm looking for it. Here we go. And that is the link to, I should have just known that. Learberry.com. That's the link to Lear. Learberry.com. That was pretty stupid of me. Mary Boston, thanks for sharing the videos. Love them. Gonna do one. Can't wait. Get it done. James Kipp, DG Post. Dan Bongino post, I was in trauma 30 plus years. I seen things that turn you white. Thousands of deaths, got a point of taking easy way out, lost who I was. Wow. God bless you. And Lou Frata for Bibles, you took my comment totally wrong last night. I'm totally opposite of that. Love you anyway. I apologize if I did. Sometimes I can be stupid like that. That's true. I mean, I don't mean anything personally. I didn't mean to cause you any pain with that. So apologize. So I'm not on a second show tonight because I'm going out to dinner. But nonetheless, I'd like to talk to you and just thank the people at Rumble who have been so good for me over the last couple months. It's been fantastic working for them. So just so you know, when Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have any biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID. Oops, I said the word. But they did. Facebook admitted they felt pressure to Biden and Harris administration. Rumble didn't. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. Watching our show here on YouTube and Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, only if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join a community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO. Rumble.com/premium using the promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means, only then, and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. But if you don't have the means, you can just keep watching along. That's fine. That is more than fine. So now I'm going to go drop the after party, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. Love you guys. Thank you very much for the videos. Keep them coming. I love them. I love looking at them. It's always a surprise to open them up, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow about the same time.